wanna see me with it? You don't wanna see me with it. See me with it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of season 4 for Women's League, presented to you by Ubisoft ANZ, XP Esports, and Computer Alliance, and as well as ZQ Racing. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. I'm once again joined by a wonderful Blue Panda. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm ready to jump straight into week 2. We've got some phenomenal matchups ahead of us, and I mean, we're kicking it off with one of the teams that we have yet to see on the stream. It is the Grumpy Grapes versing up against Nutty Gaming, who we saw last week. Who they did take a pretty convincing win over the Phoenix. So this could be a bit of a challenge that Grumpy Grapes will now be facing.
Yeah, definitely. And for Grumpy Grapes, this is going to be quite a challenge as well, given the fact that they are still yet to score themselves a win here, especially on the map that we shall be going over a little bit later on. But for the time being, before we get into all the nitty-gritty, quick rundown for everyone who are joining us on the league teams and the league format. So let's have a look at the teams that have managed to sign up, and well, we got them straight in for all this absolute jam-packed with action season that is Renz. We got Nocturnal, Grumpy Grapes, Beanix, Calypso, Nutty Gaming, Elevate, and 71st Recon. Now, Panda, any kind of so far notes about how you feeling about the beginning of the season?
Well, I mean, we came straight into week 1. Elevate came out swinging, and boy, did they take a hell of a map away from Team Calypso. They're looking solid. They're looking just as on form as they were when they won the previous season. So no surprises there coming out of them. Overall, in terms of what we saw, it's nothing crazy out of the ordinary. It's kind of what we expected with these lineups. We did expect it to be a little bit closer, but I mean, on the day, that's the way it goes. So we could see this one again. It could be reasonably close, or it could be, just unfortunately the team that loses out just missing out in those key rounds, and they're not quite able to get enough on the board. Well, we'll see. But I mean, first up, we do have a phenomenal matchup. We get to see not only, like I said, Grumpy Grapes. We haven't seen them on screen yet, but Nutty Gaming, can they double up on that win? Can they find themselves towards the top of the leaderboard? Could they be the ones to trail Elevate through the entire season?
Quite possibly, yeah. We've seen quite a solid performance from Nutty Gaming, so definitely they are on the right pathway here. But let's have a look as well at the format at where the teams will be competing. So we got 8 teams with 7 weeks of the group stage of best of ones. Then the group stage will be followed by the playoffs with the semifinals of 1 week and 1 week of the finals as well. Both of those will be played in a best of 3 format. And let's have a look what they are also battling for. Well, minus the prestige as well and the bragging rights. That is, well, obviously the money. Prize pool supported by wonderful people at Ubisoft Australia. 3,000 Australian dollars. Champions will be going away with a chunky amount of $1,500 dues, with runners-up on the second place will be keeping themselves at $1,000, and third place to keep themselves running $500 as well. So overall...
Yeah. It's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, some people refer to them as dollar dues. I've heard an interesting one over the last couple of days. Boomerang bucks was one that I got thrown at. So, I mean, look, there's a lot on the line. That's no small chunk of change, and these girls, they work so incredibly hard, pushing themselves deeper and deeper into this competition. And well, look, we've still got after this one, 4 weeks of play to go, so there's still room for someone to come in for a bit of an upset. We could see, we could see Elevate defend for a 3rd season in a row. We could see a new champion crowned at the end of this.
Oh, yeah, quite possibly. Well, as well as that, I was with our prize pool, we do have one more thing to come around that the players will be battling for, and that is the ZQ Racing MVP prize that will be coming around. That quite a nice chair, quite solid, and huge thanks to the wonderful people at the ZQ Racing as well for coming on board for this season as well. And the winner of that wonderful chair will be also decided at the end of the season. So do make sure to keep your tabs on the playoffs as well once they're going to come around. So quite a fair few things for the players to battle. But before we get into the match one that we've already kind of partially touched up on, standings. Out with 4 teams so far who are able to score themselves a dub. Some of them had a slight bit of issues, a little bit of a bumpy road, but apart from that, so far, relatively clean scores.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to remember, we're coming to the second week of competition. We have yet to see the full potential of these teams. They're going to have to warm back up into their competitive mindset. They're going to have to get themselves back into, well, it's not necessarily a cutthroat environment, but a highly competitive, highly sought-after position to be. And you want to be sitting at the top of the table. You want the better seating going into the playoff stage. And, well, with the performance that we've seen Elevate bring, they dropped a big 7-1 on Calypso. Calypso I just think it was probably a case of they weren't expecting to be, competed against that hard. Elevate just where they were ready, they were prepped, they had obviously been doing their homework. And I actually got the chance to talk to Cortari the other day. They've been scrimming hard. They have been putting in the hours to make sure that they're ready for this competition. So, I mean, it is unfortunately a case of these other teams are going to have to try and match that level of dedication, that level of commitment, and it may not always be possible. I know for a fact Calypso, the number of them are university students, and they have jobs as well, so they may not have the necessary, the hours available. But these girls, they play hard, they practice hard when they can, and they're definitely doing what they can to stay towards the top of the table.
Most certainly. Well, let's get into the schedule for tonight. Well, have a quick look at what we are going to be seeing tonight on the broadcast and what is going to be happening behind the scenes as well on the off-stream matches we do have. So Grumpy Grapes, like we mentioned before, versing against Nutty Gaming to kick things off for our first matchup on the broadcast. And then the second one is going to be Renz versus Calypso, which I feel is going to be also a very steamy one, to say the very least. Whereas off-stream, we shall be keeping our tabs out for Nocturnal versus 71st and Benix versus Elevate as well. So potentially for the off-stream games, I feel Nocturnal and Elevate might be able to score themselves a couple more points to get themselves running, seeing as the general odds seeming to be a little bit higher in their favor. But 71st, as of the last season as well, they were quite able to defend themselves. So I definitely think that they might actually pose some quality challenge to Nocturnal.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see, a number of teams finishing today's play day sitting at 1-1. There's a lot of teams that are sitting in a position where they could pick up a map here or there. It really does come down to, the map pick at the end of the day, how much they've prepped on that, and whether or not these teams can get their strong map picks available to them when they go into games. So honestly, if I had to run through what I think is going to happen, this first matchup, I think it's going to go close. I think it's going to go to OT. Map number 2, I think I just have to favor Nocturnal a little bit more, just because I've seen more of what they can bring. I know the 71st crew. I've seen them play as well, just not as much as Nocturnal. Elevate, I honestly, unfortunately, despite Phoenix win last week, I think if Elevate are bringing the same level of dedication and commitment this week, they were pretty hot last week, and then they've only had more time to warm up as the week's gone on. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very similar result to last week. And final matchup, I think again this one's probably going to go to OT.
Right. Oh, well, that means we got quite some bangers on our list for tonight. Well, let's get into all the details for match number 1. It's Grumpy Grapes versus Nutty Gaming. Like you said, potential for overtime is definitely out there. Grumpy Grapes actually were able to put up quite a fight last time they've played against, I believe that was Nocturnal. It was a 7-3, so they got quite some record there, and against Nutty Gaming definitely will be a higher chance, I believe, for them to get themselves on the board. Yoshi, Scoops Gaming, Cass, Novawick, and Aussie Ash 9-1 are the players for the Grumpy Grapes. So far, 2 players that got fresh introduction into the Women's League with Yoshi, Cass, and Novawick. Certainly they had shown us quite some good performances, namely Yoshi as well.
Yeah, look, another group of girls that you see plenty of running around in ranked and casual. So I've met them there as well, and they are definitely fraggers. Yoshi consistently just getting involved, getting those frags on. You can see just the sheer number of fights that she has been involved in. So she is definitely going to be one that Nutty should be concerned about. And these 2 unknown factors, Scoops Gaming and Aussie Ash. Coming into a competition with Ash in your name would give an indication of you probably know what you're doing. That just with that level of confidence or 91, you can only imagine it's meant to be 9.1. That's going to be a KD by the end of the season. I think it's just predictions, but look, we won't know. This is a good stage. We're coming into week number 2. We're going to get to see these guys live on stream, so we can start to develop an idea of what these guys are bringing to the table.
Indeed. Well, let's have a look at their challenges as well. That is going to be Nutty Gaming, the name that has seen a return after a little bit of a break, although with some of the new names as well being brought on board. That is Lee, who is the fresh introduction. But apart from that, the rest of the crew is pretty well known, and seen some really solid performance from them, especially from Ellie in the last week as well.
Yeah, look, it's another staple name that has been playing in and around the scene for at least as long as I've been around, so at least a year. They did have a couple of moments where there was uncertainty. We weren't quite sure what was going to be the end result of the round. They still won it out anyway. It was a 7-2 on Clubhouse, so there's obviously a lot of confidence there, but there were a couple of moments where it looked like things might have slipped away from them. So hopefully coming into this week, Nutty, they've made those adaptations, they've made those changes, and they're going to be coming in ready to go, having patched up some of those holes.
Alrighty, well, Let's take a look at the map bans, the final thing, the final piece of the puzzle before we get straight into all the nitty-gritty, and that is going to be the return of the Clubhouse. Third map in a row that we shall be seeing to be streamed here as well. And, well, apart from the fact that it is now a well-known ground for both of the teams, I'm not too sure if there's any need for the introduction for it.
Well, I mean, fun fact, Cthulhu, regardless of what the other maps are for tonight, by the end of Playday number 2, Clubhouse will have had a 50% minimum appearance so far in the competition, and that's not even including the other games that we have going on. So it could have an even higher play rate in the competition. We'll have to wait until the end of the day. Once we have those stats online, we could figure those out. But I mean, we talked about familiarity being a key factor in last week's play. They know this map. The majority of teams will know this map. So I can understand why they're comfortable going there. It then is going to come down to who makes the least mistakes on the day, and if they do make mistakes, how well their opponents can capitalize on them.
Exactly. Well, let's have a quick look over at the wonderful Clubhouse as we will be getting straight into the game. Grumpy Grapes are the ones to actually start things off on attack, whereas Nutty Gaming are the ones to begin things on the defense here. And that certainly looks like it might actually just provide the right amount of extra initial advantage, initial momentum to Nutty Gaming to maybe start their scorelines here in a really confident fashion.
Well, coming into this, operator bans are going to be key as well. Do we see something like the Thatcher and the Maverick? We saw some less conventional stuff in our opener last week. Weren't necessarily expecting it. And there we go, Thatcher. Yeah, it's exactly what we expect to be taken off the board here by Nutty. It means that you, if it's not rebanned out, have to rely on a Thatcher or some destructive utility to enable the openings of these walls. So it's very much in line what is considered meta. And there we go. Maverick being taken off means that we're probably going to see a Cade ban, because if you see one or both of these attackers banned, you want to take Cade off the board as well, just so you can actually contest the hatches, because if Cade's there, it becomes infinitely harder.
Yeah, with Cade on board, it's definitely, it's a much powerful defense, but yeah, like you said, very quality prediction. Cade is going to be thrown off board. And the last ban, I'm assuming it's going to be something across the lines of maybe a mirror, maybe something completely just out of norm, maybe a Mozzie even. But I suppose we shall see. It's going to be mirror to be taken out of the equation here. Now, one thing I do want to touch up on, whilst we're still kind of in the semi-prep phase here, with, I believe it was Grumpy Grapes, Yoshi is a sensational Kali player. Like, back in last season, she was ripping apart the competition. And seeing Kali now nerfed, maybe posing a little bit of a threat to her now needing to bring in something different, but it seems already straight off the bat it is going to be an IQ decision. Oh,
there we go. That's what you want to see.
There we go.
You get Kali in there. That's exactly what I'm waiting for. I mean, it's nerf. I think it's more bringing it in line with everything else. So just evening out the curve, because it was a little bit. There's no other gun in the game that is going to deliver a one-shot down. So I mean, look, it's just bringing things a little bit more even, making it a little bit more competitive. Because as much as I do love playing her, it's kind of busted. You can sit on an angle and just gun down everyone, but it does open up other options. Thatcher being off the board, this is the alternative. You can actually start to play around it. Now, it means, given that it is a basement bomb site, we could actually see a dirt tunnel contest.
Yeah, dirt tunnel contest now definitely going to be a much more valuable thing to really happen. So, honestly, I wouldn't put it past the fact that this may be just the play here. But certainly we'll have to see, because, well, the main thing here that I'm already seeing is the fact that GG only has a single hard breacher in the face of Thermite. So what this tells me is we might see an attempt maybe at, say, the bar hatch, and then, like you mentioned, the opening at the dirt tunnel, and then contention from there, because there is no way they will be able to get a clean one breach charge opening on the kitchen hatch, given the fact how well trained now most of the teams are in the impact tricking.
Yeah, I mean that was the you know the power that came along with the changes that were made to her. But okay, we
Okay.
not quite SSG style roam, but maybe not. But we also see Aussie is going to be playing that secondary hard breach role, quote unquote, with the secondary hard breach gadget. This is feeling like an adaptation of the SSG roam without a castle, without anything like that. It's just heavy offsite presence with information gathering potential in the Echo and the Mozzie. They're running information denial. So this is not quite what we have seen in terms of regular adaptations, but it's not a bad one. They're denying information, they're wasting time. Lord, they're wasting a lot of time as well, and they're going to have to waste a huge amount of utility just to get themselves in the building without threatening those choke points.
Yeah, this is certainly one of those setups that we haven't really seen too many things, and this is actually a very good read as well from Nutty Gaming, given the fact that they now know that there's only a single hard breacher. Possibly, actually, we might. There is a secondary on the, so there is theoretically 3 different places that they can breach on the attack of Grumpy Grapes. But apart from that, for them to even make entry into the building, or rather a safe one, they will need to waste one of those breaching charges, and certainly Nutty Gaming looking like they might try to contest for every inch of this map.
I mean, it's really going to come down to the drone work here. If Grumpy Grapes can identify the fact that there is this heavy offsite presence, why not go dirt tunnel? Why not just go for a straight rush into the bomb site, through dirt, get the plant down, and then play for the post plant? Look, their potential is there. They are looking like they want to deal with this offsite presence before they commit to the bomb site, which, I mean, depends on which team that you're talking to as to whether or not this is the call. You can play for the post plant if you want, or you can just take the heads-up gunfights, and that's what they're looking for. L going to be tagged. Scoop's just finding the angle from Logi. Might be able to do something, but no, L's going to get out of there. She gets away. She's going to rotate back up to red. So this is a very aggressive hold now coming out from Nutty.
Sure is, but so far it hasn't really paid off. Fallen Prestige has taken a chunky amount of damage there for herself, and now with Cass pushing up as well, she might just be able to just open up yet another sideline, but she does not know that there is the Mozzie right around the corner. So for now, there is the element of surprise still in the hands of Nutty Gaming, but the health department is definitely not looking too good, although for the time being it seems that the push has eased off, just for the sheer fact that they've taken the main area, which is around the master bedroom and the gym, but that will allow Prestige and L as well to rotate back to the site.
Well, I mean, the main job of a roamer is to waste time and utility. They wasted a full 2.5 minutes here, and L will find the opening frag. Has to go down. Scoops drop. No withstand on the Zofia anymore, and look who's coming down dirt. It's Yoshi. With that CSRX in hand, there is a player just to her left, but doesn't know about it. SPSMG not going to be finding anything. And all of a sudden, with 1 second left to play, Aussie not even remotely close to the bomb site. Nutty Gaming with a incredibly effective roam setup.
Yeah, that was a really solid performance by them. Minimal losses there for themselves. Honestly, being able to continuously contest that is a huge thing for them, and being able to pretty much run away scot-free without losing their operators and default back to the side is definitely really turned out for them in the first round. So if they can continue doing that, I honestly can imagine that we might actually see something across the lines of maybe a 7-2, possibly even 7-1 if things going to keep on going this way, seeing as GG currently still running with 2 new introductions to the roster.
Yeah, well, you got to wonder, does it come down to hesitation? Were they a little bit concerned about the setup and how aggressive it was? They didn't want to pull that trigger immediately, lest they risk being pinched in on from behind. But, I mean, that's just how effective this setup was from Nutty Gaming. They wasted time, the roamers got out, they got back into the bomb site completely unpunished, and from there, they were ready and waiting to contest Grumpy as soon as they had to go for that aggressive push because time was not on their side. Now they get that round, they go to CCTV, they have another option to go for this setup as well. You already see some interesting things. Wemai, which was, I mean, we saw it banned out both maps, I believe, if I remember correctly, last last time
Maybe it
around.
was
So
just
this
one
time,
map with the
oh, just one. So there's still priority around it, but we let it through. So it means you're going to have a much stronger Rafters hold here. Whoever is there doesn't have to worry about the explosive utility or concussions or your stuns. So they have a little bit safer of a time. So again, it's going to come down to just how well Grumpy can get themselves in position for the execute, just how well they can open up the avenues into the bomb site, and just how well they can execute off those positions.
Now, here's a quick note as well that I wanted to actually get your opinion and slash attention on. So whilst we have quite a stack of things happen here, there is actually a double motion sensor set up as well on the red stairs. You have the normal as a secondary gadget, and then you have the Malusi one. So could it be possible that Nutty Gaming already well aware that there might be some congestion, but they don't want to dedicate yet somebody on like the active watch for the stairs?
Yeah, I think we might see Crystal go for some sort of mute trick here. The first lance is going to be going out. Nova is there, but Crystal is on cams at the moment, so they might be able to get this one for free. That's exactly what it's looking like, but unfortunately, Nutty Gaming is not on it. I can understand why they've gone for the double setup here. Obviously, if you lose control of red stairs, the Banshee, it's quite a low tone while there's gunfire going on. It could be quite easy to lose that sound, lose that audio cue. But the proximity alarm, it's quite piercing, it's quite high-pitched, so if you do miss out during the gunfight, the sound of the Banshee going off, you've got the backup. You've got the easier-to-identify sound playing out as well.
Now, interesting thing as well happening. A very aggressive push by Scoops Gaming. I'm not too sure if she's aware about the setup of Fallen Prestige, and well, going into the gunfight, actually able to win it out pretty well and open a very quick angle for Yoshi. So that is a very easy, very quick take, and well, a really good description as to why you reinforce the construction wall.
But I think they had no idea that Fallen was in that position, and it was a little bit of panic. I don't know if it was necessarily panic. She thought she had been identified. She swung out. Unfortunately, was caught in the middle of the room. They won the gunfight. Grumpy Gapes now have the man advantage. They've got a minute to work with, so they are making the call, saying, "Look, we need to get this wall open. We need to be able to get into the bomb site, or at least contest a couple of different angles, so that when that execute does happen, we have our bases covered." And there we go, Mardina gonna find the kill onto Yoshi, so it's back even. It's the CSRX that's lost though, so it's not the worst gun to fall to the ground at the moment.
Yeah, definitely looking like at the moment things are a little bit slowing down there. We have already, once again, Zofia already rotated over to the push, and there's already the run out that has severely punished the push, which is a fantastic thing. Another peek, but no! Actually, everything is just falling apart. It's all now up to Lee, and it's a 1v1 situation in a matter of just a few seconds. Lee needs to win it out. She has the positioning. She doesn't have the utility anymore, and the gunfight, she might just be able to win it. She has the prediction, and there we go. There's the headshot. And, well, Cass unfortunately wasn't able to clutch it out, but this was a much closer round compared to round number 1.
Yeah, by all rights, it should have been a Grumpy Grapes round. They had the setup, they had the execute, they just lost control of the defuser in a position that it was unattainable from. And then Lee, I mean, the positioning was there in her favor. She had all the information she could possibly have needed. And then as the rotate comes in from top red, SMG-11, it does its thing, takes the head off, and they pick up the round. 2 rounds now, they go to gym. They then will have the option to go back to basement after this one as well. So it's looking a solid half on the defense here already for Nutty Gaming, looking to carry that momentum of last week's win into this week as well.
Certainly looks like it. Already we are seeing first few adaptations from Grumpy Grapes. The introduction of the Nomad to watch over the flank, as well as that Yoshi swapping over from the Kali over to the IQ, and that is a final decision for her as well, not a bait anymore. Interesting that similar thing can be said for Nutty Gaming, swapping over from an Echo to a Valkyrie, which I'm assuming is intending to be a little bit more of a flexible camera and roam play for Crystal, rather than just being a little bit more so of an anchor player for their site, which certainly already plays into the general dynamic of Nutty Gaming, seeing as they have been really active on their roam and overall just looked a little bit more proactive, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, just nutty. I wouldn't say necessarily that this is them going off. They just feel comfortable. They understand their roles on this particular map. They understand positioning and where they need to be at any given time. And well, they've just been executing it very, very well. Even in that last round, they did have their bases covered. Unfortunately, they just couldn't quite win their gunfights. Fallen got caught out, even though I don't really think they had an idea that she was there. And, you know, they lost a couple more frags off that lead, just pulled it out at the end. But we're going into round number 3. This is the chance for a minimum 3 half here at the moment. We're going for what is considered to be the traditional setup for this bomb site. Castle barricade onto Jim, as much utility burn as you can possibly get in there to deny that wall from being open. Mute jammers there as well to stop it from happening. And the Malusi Banshees for that, again, just more stall, more slowdown coming into this. But you look at the setup, they've got an IQ instead of a Kali this time. They're going to be actively hunting for this gadgetry. The Mute jammers, just the last second reinforcement. Not quite able to be punished. They didn't have a drone in position to identify that it was happening, because if they'd spotted that early, that could have been a huge punish onto Nutty Game.
Yeah, if that would have gone through, that would have been an easy take for Grumpy Grapes and would have been pretty much an avalanche for Nutty Gaming to really deal with. So good thing for them, I suppose, for the time being. Few flashbangs are now being drained to try to get rid of some of the ADSs, and well, rightfully so. That is a very quick and easy entry. Only a minute has been drained out, but I'm sure there's been plenty of droning. Not a whole lot of attention has been given yet to the red stairs, although I say that. Scoops about to go in, and unfortunately for Lee, she misses that shot and will be shut down, but so is Grumpy Aussie right now being downed as well, so that is certainly not looking too good, as Ellie is all ready and prepared to provide some more covering fire here.
Well, that's one of the nitro cells off the board here for Nutty Gaming, so it's some of that utility lost. The potential is there, and in fact it is secured. Aussie will be picked back up. Scoops and Aussie very low at the moment, but in a game like Siege, as long as you got bodies on the board, it's more guns that can be firing. So they still have that opportunity to be impactful in the rest of the round. Ellie, she's looking for the angle, just playing around the bedroom door. There is one close by. In fact, there's multiple players close by her position. Whether she realizes it or not, it doesn't matter. It's going to be Fallen to go down next. Yoshi finding the frag there will also take care of that Banshee on the main stairs. So they're going for the multi-pronged assault onto the bomb site here. Medina has been spotted. I think they're spraying bullets in towards Logic. Crystal does get found. Yoshi doing big work from the backside of the bomb site. This is looking very, very good for Grumpy Grapes. It's really just down to how well they can translate it into the win. 2 versus 4 at the moment. 30 seconds left to play. Medina rotates into bedroom. Might be able to find the player at top. Main Ellie through the window finds the player outside on the balcony. Aussie to go down. Finds a second. Cass as well. Hits the dirt. Unfortunately can't find another. It's Yoshi for a triple. Has to find one more at the very least. 10 seconds left. Medina's been spotted. Found the diffuser. Unfortunately for Nutty Gaming, they cannot get the 3rd in a row. It's Yoshi with a massive 4K in the round to secure the 1st here for Grumpy Grapes.
There we go. Now that was finally the win that Grumpy Grapes needed there for themselves, and finally we're able to win it out. But that was still off the back of the final few seconds, which is definitely still an alarming sight for GG to really work around. So I'm assuming that now that they've kind of nailed down the pace, they should still now be able to take a pretty quick control of the Treasure and Arsenal room. No more Kali shenanigans, it seems, as Grumpy Yoshi has now decided to completely swap out from that, at least for the time being. And we are seeing the reintroduction of Jackal, plus the Ace will be staying in the hands of Scoops Gaming as well. So now this is a much more flexible lineup that we are seeing. We have pretty much all the bases covered. Got the roam clear, got the 2 operators that can deal with the soft breaching / utility denial, and the 2 hard breaches. So there should be a solid abundance of ways to breach for the attack right now.
Well, I mean, we did think that this one was going to be close, and if Grumpy Grapes, if they can find a bit of momentum off the back of this, we could see this one going pretty deep into regulation time at the very least, if not overtime as well. But down in the basement, last time we were here, Cthulhu, it was an extended upstairs hold. 3 of 5 players off-site for the first 2.5 minutes of the round. until they finally retreated back in, helped mop up those remaining frags. This time, it's looking a little bit more centered around the basement here. We're not seeing that information denial necessarily. We're not seeing the Mute or the Mozzie coming in this summer. They've got the Echo, they've got the Legion, they've got those tools that I was talking about earlier to stall out, slow down the attackers. They're doing all the hatches now, it seems, yeah. So they are going to just, I would imagine, hunker down, just hold the basement as best they can. Maybe one player off-site, but at the moment, they're all in pretty close proximity down in this Armory Church bomb site.
Indeed, certainly looks like quite a change of pace overall here for the defense, and definitely it will be a pretty decent adaptation given the fact that now Nighty Gaming will be putting GG through the paces of trying to figure out whether it's an anchor hold, whether it's an active hold. And with that said, well, first attempt at the breach is going to be coming out. A little bit of a premature impact grenade there, and still a breach that will be coming out. Ellie, unfortunately, unable for her, or rather for her team, to deny that breach. And well, that was a flawless opening. Although, talking about the flawless opening, Fallen Prestige being able to get the frag onto Noblewick, so no more breaching in that department.
I mean, at that stage, the job has been done. You want to get that hatch open. If you can get that, you can get a good chunk of control over this Armory bomb site. They've also opened up dirt, so they've got multiple avenues in. Yoshi, if she can keep fragging the way she has been, could be an absolute menace through this tiny hole, through these small angles. And I think Scoops is trying to replace Cass here a little bit. Selma goes out onto the floor. Cass will walk up angrily, swing her hammer, and just contribute to the mayhem. But this is a much earlier, much more aggressive setup that we're seeing out of Grumpy Grapes. We are only just entering the second half of the round. They've got vertical pressure. They've got control of the entrance to dirt at least, and they can start to now creep forward, get in position to go for that explosive execute, and that's where the panic can set in for the defenders.
Yeah, for now it looks like they're not even really bothering to move around the positions too much, just to see that Martina starts getting a little bit angsty around her positioning, seeing as pressure is about to start coming around. And oh, actually, Grumpy Cass finding that shot through the wall as well. Good drone work there to essentially indicate the positioning of the defenders, and Martina goes down as well, which is a fantastic turn of events there. Already in a 3v4, and it looks like Yoshi might just be able to just go in for the swing and peek at the Legion, but doesn't able to actually collect the kill, and instead it's Crystal and Ellie finding finally the frags before Cass trades them out, and we back into a 2v2 with Martina still down, but oh no, this is all just falling apart here.
Crystal does pick up Cass, so it's a 2v1. Aussie just looking for the angle. It's a 1v1. Lee versus Aussie again. Smoke canisters going up. The rotate is there into church, but the information will be fed by the two players on the ground. Aussie, does she have any idea where this final player could be? 3 seconds left on the clock. Spray from the SMG-11 will give away the game, but unfortunately, there is just not enough time for Grumpy Grapes to get the defuser down. Aussie just didn't have the option to commit.
And that was yet again the unfortunate issue of the of just the time management. It seems that what's so far hunting and haunting the GG lineup, they have some really good pushes. They are able to get the frags off a fantastic drone work, but it seems the moment when it comes down to the flat-out just push onto the site, it all just falls apart. Ellie will be returning back to the Jaeger after a bit of a bait and switch with the Maestro. But at this point, I mean, Maestro would have been one of the more so of, I suppose, absurd picks here.
Yeah, I mean, you possibly could have substituted out the smoke for it. You chuck the ADSs, the Whammy magnets in rafters. You put the older 5.56 up there. You don't have to worry about frag grenades. And well, I mean, Ali could just go and have a grand old time mowing down anyone dumb enough to walk through unchecked into garage. But no, they switch off. They want to make sure that Jaeger is on the board because of the changes that have been made. Utility is just that much more impactful now in the current stage of Siege. And well, they get themselves up. CCTV once again. Last time round, Crystal, I think the positioning was to go for a mute trick of some sort there, but this time around, there's no Kali, so they don't necessarily have to worry about it as much. They will have to worry about the, someone coming in through, get secret stairs, rotating in, shooting the new jammer out from below. But I mean, that also requires them to get out into the building without being contested. And the way Nutty Gaming has been playing, they're probably going to be contested.
Oh yeah, 100%. I definitely would imagine that there will be some presence downstairs in the ground floor. So far at the moment it's Full and Prestige, who I'm assuming actually going to be sitting around the bar area, which is not a bad decision at all. But for now it's just going to be kind of all over the place, roam in hopes of just not being detected in general for the first half of the game before any heat starts coming their way. Cass is going to be the one to drone things out to figure out if the immediate... if there's any immediate danger.
A bomb has been located.
Apart from that, so far the reconnaissance will be returning nothing really in regards to the information. So Yoshi will be making the entry, and she looks like she's being the entry fragger here, and instead will be actually joining by herself. So for now, it's more so a calm before the storm. Really, Scoops is up and around, and actually will be potentially contesting against Ellie very early into the round.
Oh, Scoops opens up the wall, and Jim just both players, Ellie and Scoops, shooting at each other, but not finding any purchase, not finding any ground. That could have been a big opening. And speaking of big openings, losing Aussie, the Jackal off the board early, Fallen playing downstairs. That is a devastating blow to Grumpy Grapes here. Dealing with this flank potential has been such a key part of the strategy. They want to clear out those hazards between them and the bomb site, and now they cannot reliably do that by tracking footsteps. This round gets that much harder. You see now Yoshi and Scoops are on the hunt, trying to catch up Fallen. In fact, Cass is there in the back pocket of Yoshi. In fact, they're going to just group up to try and go and dual swing this Malusi, who's there, and oh my lord, Yoshi loses her head. A clean headshot from Fallen as she fades away down to the basement. Will rotate up towards secret stairs if she chooses to, but I mean, look at the time that is being wasted. They've now got Scoops down as well, not quite able to find the flank onto Ellie. Nutty Gaming, they are definitely in their element right here.
Most certainly. Meanwhile, Grumpy Grapes just can't seem to be able to find any kind of response here. Finally, Cass is able to trade out Ellie, but already the damage has been done. 2v4 in a matter of 44 seconds, and this is where usually Grumpy Grapes do stall out whenever they have the lack of player power, or rather numbers. This is where they start falling apart, and now with the fact that Lee also starts using her gas grenades, this is going to waste even more time. So now it's rather the decision, do they want to just full send it, do they want to try to peek through some of the windows? And well, for Scoops, this will be a very quick and easy answer. That is going to be just flat out death.
Well, with the way the toxic canister, the final one was thrown, there is an avenue into the bomb site, so Cass might be able to get in, but she's then got to contest with 3 players who will be trying to stop it. Dancing around the table in Cash. Can Cass find the kill on Lee? Yes! Triple kill for Cass in the round. 2 seconds left to play. Diffuser not there. No chance. Again, Nutty Gaming just playing the time game to perfection, and Grumpy Grapes just not being in position with enough time to comfortably go for that execute.
This has to be already one of the highest amount of rounds won out by the time throughout this playday and the previous playday so far, seeing as Metagaming are just playing it out in a clever way, really wasting just time and not even taking some of the unnecessary gunfights. But when I say that, we've seen Ellie just flat out swing at the opposition and just take the dubs.
Yeah, and I just said it's confidence shining through here for Nutty Gaming. They're well and truly gelling as a team. The comms are coming off cleanly, it seems, because there hasn't felt like there's been any massive misplays here. The situations where they have come down to the wire or it has been close is because Grumpy Grapes have been able to win their gunfights in those situations. But at the moment, I mean, Nutty Gaming, they're looking to repeat last week's performance. They are 3 rounds, well, technically 4 if we go for that same scoreline, but they're 3 rounds away from taking this map 7-1 against Grumpy.
I suppose the second half will be also a pretty solid showcase of whether Nutty Gaming are prepared for this competition and whether they are looking to keep things rolling for themselves, or whether the Grumpy Grapes will be able to finally find some sort of comeback for themselves, because so far, yeah, it's definitely looking like a bit of a grim picture that is being painted for them, but
5 seconds to insertion.
quite a possibility that we might just see something
Attackers must locate and
something like a complete turnaround here. Pardon me, a little bit
But-
of waffle there.
I mean, so if Grapes do pick up this next round, it's a 4-2 split. That's kind of what you're looking for on the attack on a map like Clubhouse. So it's not the worst result for them to find Crystal. Just not quite able to get the Yokai drone into the corner perfectly because of that new jammer, but they will make do for now. Castle Barricades coming in yet again, but you look at the setup. Scoops there early, looking to try and open things up again. These late reinforcements that could have been punished if the information was there, but unfortunately, drone's getting in just a second too late. Cass trying to look for that information down below, and Scoops looking through with the drone into CCTV spots out. Lee, at the very least, will have seen that there is a mute jammer there as well, so they have an idea. Jackal scan coming in to start off. Yoshi has spotted Prestige or Fallen and will take some shots, but unfortunately, again, not quite able to confirm the kill. Means they now have to go on the hunt to clear this out. And we've seen exactly how effective the roam game is here for Nutty Gaming. The amount of time they have wasted has been the decider in how these rounds have played out.
Another interesting thing that really I would want to point out is the late breaches. Scoops really had all the information about the fact that, hey, we can go for an easy breach. Could have been much, not really another half a second wasted. So right now, this is finally we do see some good pincer move though. So it seems that a little bit of a compensation between some of the breaches and finally being able to rendezvous with the rest of the team, I suppose.
Oh, Cash pushing through will clear out CCTV. Look to start clearing things out into Cash and then onto Con if you can. But Ali, this immovable force, it seems, for Nutty Gaming is going to have something to say about it. Just position above the hatch here. Might be able to find that angle because they just... Do they have any information? A drone is all it's going to take to spot out this Jaeger. No, they have absolutely... Oh, there we go. It doesn't matter. You don't need information if you've got Scoops on the job. We'll find one, but the trade is there. Yoshi going down, so the man count still in favor of Grumpy Grapes at the moment. But again, it's a situation, there's 50 seconds left on the clock. We have seen this before, and unfortunately losing out on Scoops as well. At least the trade is there. They have the man advantage, but with time quickly ticking away here, Cthulhu, they need to get themselves in. They need to get a plant down, otherwise they're going to lose out to the clock yet again.
Another gunfight does erupt, and well, 1v2 just like that. Grumpy Aussie and Cass are still there and alive, and well, another gunfight does come around. It's a 1v1 situation, all up to Cass now, but oh, the R4C is just sharp there. GG won't be allowing another round to go into the hands of Nutty Gaming. We are finishing this all off on 4-2 scoreline, just like you mentioned before.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the worst case scenario you want to your score to be at the end of the first half if you're an attacker. You're now going under the defense. You have that option to pick up a few rounds now here, as the majority of teams will opt into. You can play the clock now. It's working in your favor. We're going to be heading back down to basement, as we have seen be the primary bomb site for both teams so far, but we see some minor adaptations coming in. Yoshi is sitting on the alibi at the moment, so there is potential for 6-pick there, but on the attacking side, Medina bringing the Hibana, which we just didn't see in the repertoire of Grumpy Grapes.
It seems that maybe for Grumpy Grapes, they were just favoring a little bit more of the loadout of the Ace rather than Hibana's utility there, given the fact that the AK-12 does have quite a higher DPS comparative to the Type 89, so possibly there's that also on plate. Partially, maybe it's just the fact that Nutty Gaming are planning to bring in a little bit more utility here. They are kind of more so of a
Defenders, protect your bombs from
strategic
being
kind of
attackers.
squad. If you have a look overall at how they perform, how they play out, they play for time way more. They play for just the deception, I suppose, comparative to so far what we've seen from Grumpy Grapes, which was, for the most of it, really get a few openings and then start contesting those angles.
Well, we're heading into the first round of the second half. At the moment, I mean, the frags, they're coming in quickly and quite effectively for Nutty Gaming at the moment. Late reinforcements on the hatches here for Grumpy Gaming, which, I mean, would indicate potentially we're going to see this Valkyrie roaming upstairs, maybe paired with Yoshi, but no, okay. They are just heading back down. Nova is upstairs with the mute jammers, so I mean,
Attackers are moving
that
out to
makes
locate
me
a bomb
think
and
they've set
defuse
up something up there to try and either, misinform. So
Attackers have located
it's
a
an
bomb.
interesting
We have
position.
a few mute jammers around here.
Yeah, so so it looks like someone will be. It'll be Yoshi playing up in the second floor here, looking to try and misinform as best she can. And Cass there as well, and Logi. They're trying to play the vertical angle above the hedge. I've seen it one time before. It was a maestro that there is an angle. You can set it up. You open up the floor below the filing cabinets. You put your evil eye on it, and you can actually shoot out the Habana pellets from above. It's it's a pretty interesting angle right there. Those ones that we're seeing in front of us, but I think Cass is saying that she's probably a little bit more effective than an evil eye.
Probably will be quite a fair bit more damage even than the evil eye, but it seems that Ellie is not planning to really waste any more time in the true Ash fashion. We'll be going in for the breach and, well, not yet shift Wing into the first gunfight, as it seems that right now she's not particularly too keen on trying to contest against Yoshi and Cass as well.
Well, I mean, you can already see the different approaches that we're seeing here. Nutty Gaming, they were aggressive holds on the defense. They were looking to step up, contest their opponents wherever they could. Grumpy Grapes, they're looking for a little bit more of a passive hold. Head seen, unfortunately not clicked there. Ellie will take first blood in the second half, taking down Yoshi. The alibi gone. That's more information available. Now they understand that the alibis that they're going to be seeing aren't necessarily real. Cass tucked into Logi. Just trying not to be spotted for dear life. And the drone is going to go in. It's going to spot it. So they now know that there is this lone Jaeger in logistics. And I think Cass could be in a world of trouble seconds from now.
Well, right now, for now, it looks like a manhunt really out here. Two different angles to be contested straight off the bat, but a little bit of a missed time there. Mardina does go down, and, well, Ellie will need to go in for the push, but Cass is unrelenting. She finds herself a double kill while still staying alive on one tick of HP, and it looks like, well, Nutty Gaming definitely looking like they're in a little bit of a trouble.
I mean, 1 HP in a dream, that's all you need in a game like Siege, and that's exactly what Cass has at the moment. Surely the communication comes in that the hatch is trying to be open. It's going to be a swing onto the stairs, but no one is there. So Cass now has the freedom to relocate. Unfortunately, it has come at the cost of both kitchen and bar hatch. But look at this, the drop down in from behind. Cass can do some real damage. 10 frags already. The trigger discipline. Oh, no, through the wall. It doesn't matter. Fallen goes down. So does Scoop going down. Repentance. And, well, Lee's done some big damage. Cass is there. And somehow, this 1 HP Jaeger has stepped up, found 4 frags, and enabled Aussie to find the last. Grumpy Grapes take the first round of the second half.
Oh my goodness, that was just an absolutely ridiculous play there, gotta say. As, honestly, I did not expect that turn of events there. Especially for Cass. If the pincer would have been timed a little bit better there, I definitely think that the Jaeger would have been pushed out of their position very, very quickly. But nonetheless, very good job by Cass, which will be scoring that nice victory. And, well, 1 round closer to the draw here between the two teams, and potentially 1 round closer to the dream of the overtime here.
Well, I mean, this is probably the closest match we've had on stream so far this season, and well, it's look at if Grumpy Grapes can maintain this momentum, if they can bring this same level of play into the second half and carry it and keep it going, we could see the turnaround here. We could see them surpass Nutty Gaming purely off of the defensive rounds here. Well, CCTV Cash, this one is one of those Tinnitus bomb sites that can go either very, very well for the defense or it can go abysmally wrong. There's so many angles that you do need to worry about the setup. It has to be on point here so that you can deny information, deny angles. And, well, they're getting themselves ready. They've got that utility now. They're bringing the Valkyrie yet again. They're prioritizing that information. And, well, it's gonna see. We're just gonna have to wait and see how Nutty Gaming will match up against this. Will it just be waves crashing onto the rocks, or will they punch through, get that diffuser down, and get the lane?
Yeah, there's still going to be a few questions
to locate a bomb and defuse it.
to be answered here, but for the time being, the Grapes have definitely bought themselves a little bit more time here in this match and potentially a chance to really make that comeback happen. So far, they're looking like a pretty active ROM here. Grumpy Cass taking a page out of Prestige's book for the ROM with Melusi downstairs, but this time a little bit deeper in the downstairs area, and Yoshi actually playing around the stockroom will be trying to maybe cause some initial damage and take some of the earlier gunfights, although this is not particularly a favorable angle to really play around now that she's also spotted by the drone, so possibly will be forced to fall back. A breach already starting to happen. So Ellie just wants to make sure that all the breaches, everything is working out the right way, and there we go. Prestige is the one to find the frag, and that's the Valkyrie out of the equation.
Yeah, again, Nitro Cell off the board, but the cameras, hopefully they're in the right place to provide that information, and this Fallen will do a bit of a 180 turnaround. I think she hit the mute jammer there. I'm not quite sure. I know that there was changes made, and yeah, only just hitting the corner was enough to destroy it. Means they do get that panel open, the southern one, and now they can start to pressure onto the bomb site. Melusi Banshee dealt with, but Cass, this big factor in these rounds, has found the flank. Fallen traded out now. 13, 2, and 4. This could be the one key linchpin that Grumpy Grapes need to bring this one back. Cass is having a phenomenal game so far and could definitely turn this entire map on its head.
Definitely looks like it, because right now, well, Gaming at a bit of an issue here now that they can't really have a good solid ground on the bottom floor. Now they will have that kind of thought at the back of their head that, hey, we need to worry about the roamer, we need to sort something out there. And really, well, maybe for Crystal this is going to be an issue, and quite possibly there could be a C4 from below, so the contention need to be there. Scoops Gaming picks up a very nice shot onto Crystal, but fragged by Lee is there as well, and all of a sudden it's a 3v2 with 40 seconds to go, so still plenty of time to play around. Cass rotates over through the main stairs into construction, and all the C4 has already been used, so the plant should be relatively easy there.
Oh, swinging in Cass will find one, but unfortunately Ellie is just on top of her game. It's a 1 versus 2. Nardina and Ellie versus Scoops, who, I mean, Scoops has found a couple of very, very impactful frags. Really will come down to just how well she can clutch this one. One outside the breach, one in garage, looking through that hole in the garage wall to the window. But the relocation could be the window that Scoops needs, just trying to figure out where these players are. Mardina will give away that positioning by opening up the door into garage. Spotted out, will be shot at on the stairs, but neither player finding the angle. It's going to be Ellie to shut it down from the side. Just waiting, biding her time, and we see the gap being widened here once again by Nutty Gaming. They played it cool. They got the plant down. They played for the post-plant positioning, and unfortunately, Scoops wasn't able to find the frag she needed to in this situation.
Yeah, frag came out there just at the right time as well, and well, we shall be seeing a gym defense here from GG now that they need to once again battle for the fact of not allowing Nutty Gaming to score the match point themselves. Gym and bedroom is definitely gonna be one of those kind of wildcard sites, I suppose, to play around, and Crystal actually decides to hide the sledge pick behind the Capitao one, and similar goes for Aussie as well, switching off from a Capcan to a Bandit. Quite a radical, I suppose, change, given the fact that two of the operators have two different roles there. One delays the push, or rather, well, deals some passive damage potentially. The other one denies the breach. So it seems that GG now, well, realizing that some sort of tricking needs to be in place, bringing in the Bandit certainly should make things a little bit spicier and tilt the favor in their side.
Well, I mean, we saw just how key that Capcan was last week. Some big impact plays with the entry denial devices coming in through there, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense with this 6-pick. So they had the mute, they had it shown there. So, you know, Nutty Gaming are going to be anticipating a mute jammer on the jacuzzi wall. But picking up the Bandit, they can now electrify that. They can spread the mute jammers all the way over to CCTV cache. They can deny a huge swathe of this ground that Nutty Gaming will have to get and clear those jammers out before they can actually start to sweep in, figure out the defensive position. So it's a pretty on-point play here for Grumpy Grapes, and it really is going to be telling as to how well they can utilize it. At the moment, they're going for the standard castle setup. They're going to be trying to lock down that angle, keep those batteries alive as long as possible. They've also stacked up the ADS as they're reading into a nade through that drone hole. And again, yeah, just this big extension all the way over to CCTV cache. So they are looking to try and keep as much ground as possible for as long as possible and try and delay out that way.
That is going to be a pretty solid idea here for GG to just try to drain as much utility as possible before even the push onto the side happens. Playing that kind of, I suppose, slightly evolving utility meta, as Ellie already starts.
I'm not quite sure what Krista was doing. Just one shot into the castle barricade. I think she maybe just wanted to feel like she was helping out there, but largely unnecessary. But at this stage, you look at the positioning here. Nutty Gaming, this is good. They're stacked up, ready to try and get this open. But the big question is, how long are they going to take to do it? Because the ADSs, they no longer are burnt after 2 uses. They reset after 10 seconds. So they're going to need someone to get in position to help Ellie open up this barricade. And there we go. Crystal looks like it's going to be the sacrifice of the frag grenades here. First one going to be going through, ADS dealt with. They're looking to try and throw the second one in, so got that confirmation. There we go. They're going to open up the wall. They're going to try, I believe that took out the secondary ADS as well now, and Scoops, this angle is going to be absolutely filthy. Spots the drone, unfortunately. Not going to be able to find much of anything from it. The drone will drop down, though. So, again, more information denied off the board. Ellie looking for the angle. They have the opportunity to open up Jacuzzi Wall, which they have done, it seems. Well, this is what we saw early from Grumpy, and there we go. Falling going to find the opening frag. Scoops to go down. Jaeger off the board downstairs. Not really having much of an impact, but this angle from Aussie could be one that does a lot of damage.
Speaking of the angles right now, Yoshi might try to contest a relatively long angle between Fallen, and already actually the plant is starting to go down. Lee is planting right behind the weights, and right now not a single chance for Aussie to really even score anything, and a very quick getaway by Lee without losing any HP is a great thing here. 3v4 though, but post-plant situation should definitely make things a whole lot easier now that there's also a push by Lee, but the call out is there. The full knowledge of the positioning of the Thermite is in play, and Crystal right now down, and the defense is starting to actually run up and, well, try to get some things going here. Already on the cross, one is punished, and Grumpy's actually going to be sticking the defuse. She's sticking, nobody is watching the angle. The denial needs to be there, but no! Grumpy Grapes!
The positioning there from Nutty Gaming was trying to cover their bases, trying to cover the rotate, and they didn't anticipate Aussie being in the site, going for the commit, and it's the old adage, pros don't fake, and Aussie did not fake the defuse. She stuck it out. She had the confidence that they were not going to be able to get in position to actually gun her down, and that's a round of the... This is the closest match we have had so far in this new season of XP Esports Women's League. We have not had a round differential that is any closer than, I think it's 4 rounds. At the moment, this minimum is going to be 3 rounds of round differential. If Grumpy Grapes can pull these rounds out time and time again, we could have the longest match so far as well.
Quite possible that could be the play. Well, Church and Arsenal Room is going to be coming right up here for our round number 10. 5-4 is the scoreline so far. Nutty Gaming still are in the lead by 1 point, but it seems like Grumpy Grapes are just gaining that momentum yet again and seeming to be able to contest with their opposition quite well. Decision to bring in an alibi instead of the Mozzie. Now that is a very curious one to me, given the fact that, well, both of the operators could do a pretty good job at the roaming. But I'm assuming this is more so of a preference pick, maybe a few strats, given the fact that Yoshi is placing those prisoners at some very interesting angles so far.
I think it's probably to do with the impact tracking. That's the priority there, just to have a secondary set of impacts to try and deny that kitchen hatch from being opened up. Is now, you know, Valkyrie no longer has that deployable shield. It's impact grenades instead, but Cthulhu. Cass is 15, 2,
10
and
seconds
6
remaining.
right now.
Ooh.
Carrying on this moment, there is minimum 2 rounds to be
seconds
played.
left.
We could see our first 20 bomb of this season if Cass can keep finding these frags. On the Jaeger as well, 416 carbine in hand. This, you couldn't ask for a better gun to do it either. And I mean, just the way that these rounds are playing out, the impact that Cass has had solely, and we're going to see them upstairs in that exact same position we saw them playing around last time. And yes, Yoshi will be up there as well. Last time, if you remember correctly, it was Cass with a massive performance, living on literally 1 health and then still finding an extra couple of frags on the back of it. I mean, if we see that level of play again, she's looking good to hit that 20 mark.
Most definitely, she is very much able to do so, and funnily enough, well, the drone does spot the position this time. It is well aware, but Cass is not planning to really try her luck this time. Bails out quite promptly from the construction setup, but Lee only now learns of that. We'll be dropping down with the drone as well, so once again, the hunt for the Red October, it seems, is well and truly on the way. Crystal is the only person that is actually the closest to Cass, so possibly could shut her down relatively early, but there's no knowledge of the Jaeger's position now that the drone of Lee has been completely destroyed.
I mean, already, a minute 15 minimum has been wasted here. Yoshi gonna find the frag from Secret Stairs. Has the ability to rotate down freely as well. That is one of the key parts of this attack now gone. No exothermic charges. They don't have that security in contesting these hatches. They now have to rely solely on Mardina. If Mardina goes down, they are in real trouble. And there we go. Cass finds the diffuser even. That is another attacker off the board. That is 4 who has been finding these key frags on the attack for Nutty as well. Cass is just going to lie straight back down in bar, right by stage. We're going to see Mardina pick up the diffuser at least. And unfortunately, Cass cannot find another one. Ellie is there to help. It was all mind games. Mardina was just the bait, and Ellie was in fact the real threat. But at this stage, there's a minute left. Yoshi looking to come in from behind into lounge. Can she find a frag? Ellie's going to swing, loses the gunfight. Grumpy Grapes are looking to tie this one up at 5-5 with 49 seconds left. 2 players left in the attack, 1 drone between them as well. Crystal and Mardina have an insurmountable odd against them, and unfortunately, it's even worse. Now Mardina is on her own.
Well, the gas grenade is starting to run out. Mardina is being just cornered into those positions, and well, Grumpy Yoshi is going to be the one to shut her down, not even allow any more movement. And like you said, a draw between the two teams. 5-5 is certainly a solid performance here. Grumpy Grape certainly looking like they are getting that redemption going for themselves, should they achieve it at this point. But for now, maybe CCTV and Cash Room. This is going to be the side that has been won out before by Nutty Gaming off the just sheer amount of kills. So quite possibly this could be the site where we shall be seeing one of the two teams actually advance over to the match point.
Well, yeah, one of them's going to get there. That much is for certain. It really comes down to how their opponents can, contest going into the final round of regulation time. But Cthulhu, even though this round, this bomb site went the way of Nutty Gaming last time, there were still some big plays that almost secured it for Grapes. They almost got it there. It came down to the 1v2. Unfortunately, Mardina was just able to draw the attention of Scoops long enough for Ellie to swing into the breach and find the kill. So the question now becomes, how do they contest it this time? What can Cass do? Because, 16-7, just finding the frags. It's not even like the rest of the team just isn't showing up. It's just Cass will find those frags, completely obliterate whoever is unfortunate enough to walk in her way, and then the rest of her team is just left there sitting and thinking, well, when is it my turn? Because, look, Aussie is 4-1-5. She's died in only half of the rounds played so far. And, that's purely because Cass is the one picking up all the key frags.
Speaking of Cass, actually she swapped off the Jaeger now. We'll be rocking the Melusi with the MP5, which is not a bad idea either. And that punch off the window surely should have given the right sound cues there for some possible baits, but it seems that Nutty Gaming are completely unfazed by this. But yeah, look, gotta say, Cass has definitely been instrumental in quite a fair few rounds to the success of Grumpy Grapes, and certainly will be continuing her rampage here. And to add up to your kind of description of her, it's at this point, it's regardless of any case, Cass is getting at least 1 or 2 kills every single round at this point.
Yeah, I mean, she's looking good. She's going to find herself at the completion of this match, regardless, win or loss, you know, sitting towards the top of the overall frag table. And Ellie finds Yoshi, the player that was upstairs, and unfortunately, that is the Valkyrie again off the board, losing out on that utility, losing on cameras. It's not great, but I mean, even though that you know, it's not the worst gun to lose. It's the MPX, let's be honest, but. I mean, having a Nitro Cell on board could have been big in terms of shutting down that plant if it were to happen again.
Definitely. Now, here's an interesting development. Fallen Prestige actually decided to opt out from holding the stocks, full well knowing that there might be a roam around the bar / like lower landing of the main stairs, and rightfully so. Cass will actually be emphasizing on that, and will be able to go in for the push. Possibly just even a small rotation over back to the side would really help, but it seems that she is craving some of those frags, and meanwhile Crystal with some grenade throws will be attempting to force out some of the defenders, but none yet to come.
1 minute or just over left on the clock as they need to find some frags, some opening to get themselves into the bomb site, and Crystal is the one hunting for it at the moment. But look at Nova holding this angle. MP5 in hand as well, so looking for more of that long-range contest. Shoots out the drone, so they know that she is here. Are they going to just walk it in? Are they going to take the heads-up gunfight? That seems to be the play. Lee's going to swing in, does find it. Scoops as well, goes down, but Aussie trades out and finds Mardina. Will go down herself, unfortunately. So now it is all on Cass. Has to find 4, so this could be her 20. Swings in. Unfortunately, it is Ellie that she has to go up against. In Nutty Gaming, they will move themselves on to map point here. And Grumpy Grapes, the question now becomes, can they bring it back? Now, they have the option. Do they go CCTV? Do they go back to Gym Bedroom? Because those, I mean, they could go bar stock if they really wanted to, but of the 2 serious bomb sites, it is Gym Bedroom or CCTV cache, and it's looking like they're feeling more confident on Gym Bedroom.
Well, rightfully so. They were able to actually juggle Gym Bedroom quite well overall. Funnily enough, this was so far their most won site as well, regardless of whether they were on defense and offense. Each and one of those sites did go into Grumpy Grape's hands with either winning out by enemies killed or whether it was the destruction of the diffuser. So this time, I mean, there's quite a high chance that we might see the overtime actually happen if Nutty Gaming won't be changing anything really here, seeing as, well, Crystal's still going to be sticking to Jackal. Honestly, I'm not really seeing much of a change here for the pace.
Well, the question then becomes just how long can Cass keep herself alive? Because the longer she keeps herself alive, the more impact she can have in a round. She's going to be bringing the mute here, so we'll be running, you know, M590, SMG11. Not quite as much long-range threat as she has been used to in some of these opening, well, some of these gunfights in general. They are going for what we have seen from them previously. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary from them. But, I mean, this is the last shot Grumpy Grapes have at extending this map. If they lose this, the map is over. It is going to be a 7-5 win going the way of Nutty Gaming. If they win it, we go to O-Team. They reset themselves. They have a chance of bringing it back themselves. So they obviously have enough confidence. They're going to be putting her on this. Not one of those heavy frag roaming operators that we have seen her on so far. Obviously, they're confident in her gun skill with that SMG11 as well. So, I mean, it's often said, you know, you take your best frag, you can give them the worst gun because you have confidence that they're going to hit their shots regardless of what they're using, and this could be a case of that. Not saying the SMG11 is the worst gun. I take that back. But, like, she won't have the same level of long-range threat that she's been used to.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, the SMG11, unless you are a literal god of Siege, it is going to be quite a challenge to keep that recoil stable on the long-range engagement. So, for the time being, we are seeing pretty much as stock standard as it can get play out by both teams. Quick and easy breach this time with just using the breaching charges rather than the ash charges here for Ellie to not waste too much of the utility. And straight off the bat already quite a confident push here by Crystal and I believe Fallen Prestige, as they are planning to start contesting some of the angles very early. Scoops, just missing out on the angle. Will be missing the head of the Jackal, but sees the body. Finally waits till the full body is revealed and only able to get it down, so maybe Fallen Prestige is able to find a refrag here.
I mean, it's a down. That's damage done at the very, very least, so they have the opportunity to convert that if they really are able to, but at the moment trying to get the coverage that Fallen needs to go for this pickup, but it's a dangerous situation. Scoops, it smells blood in the water. Is going to be looking to go from below potentially. Cass there as well. M590 hand spotted by the drone. They will get the pickup here, so they know that there is at least a player close. This M590, it's still a powerhouse of a weapon. It's shut things down, but it's Aussie to find the opener. Lee to go down. And Lee, unfortunately, has been lost out, has lost control of the diffuser at that. It's stuck in the breach, stuck in a very tenuous position. Yoshi could look to shut down the pickup attempt. Do they have a player nearby? It doesn't look like it. They just have to stall out the clock here, and Crystal going to be working her way into Cash. No, unfortunately, doesn't see Cash, who swings at the M590. Takes another one off the board. Aussie gets Mardina. It looks like we could be heading to OT for the first time this season here. Cthulhu Alley out on suicide, looking to jump into the con window. Fallen just working away, and Scoops dies to the Claymore. They are hunting Cass desperately right now. They know that there is one thing standing in their way to working their way into bedroom, and it is Cass. They have to now go outside to try and contest this. Yoshi now swinging in support. 20 seconds left on the clock. It's looking bleak. It's looking dire here. Yoshi might even be able to find the wall bang through the CCTV door. This is unfortunate. Nutty Gaming, it's going to go down. Cass finds yet another one. And Aussie, with a big triple in the round, pushes us to OT here. And we are heading into the final stretch of Clubhouse here. What has so far been the longest map of Season 2.
Already with a week 2 just striking us, it is definitely looking quite interesting, to say at the very least. Well, Natty Gaming will continue their attack, as the decision was there for them to be on attack, whereas Grumpy Grapes will be continuing their defense streak, and so far it actually works out quite well for them. Church and Arsenal Room will be the next decision, and well, last two times it was played out, it was both of the times going into the hands of Grumpy Grapes, so this is certainly looking like we just might see yet another win for Grumpy Grapes here, because the trend, well, so far continues for all these statistical points that so far all the spreadsheets are showing here.
Well, I mean, if they win this, they then have the option to go to Gym Bedroom, which just, it's been such a good sight for them so far. They're not going to be forced to take themselves to CCTV, and, well, we've seen a very few and far between attacker rounds. In fact, it's been a 4-2 defender split each half, which means that there's twice as many defender rounds have been won as attackers. So this is unfortunate. It means that Nutty Gaming are now facing a massive uphill battle. And I mean, if there was a round that it needed to be on an attack, it has to be this one.
Well, certainly, they need to get that early advantage here in the points in the overtime, because otherwise I do feel that we may be seeing a very swift downfall of Nutty Gaming. Such a solid beginning for them in the first half, all to be completely forfeited in the second half, and that is that big question that keeps on popping up, because quite a fair few teams do seem to be struggling quite a few times whenever they do get to the attack. So possibly here, whoever's got the most attack rounds seems to be in the loss.
Well, I mean, just the sheer impact, the sheer influence that Cass has had over this map has been astounding to watch. It's just been this one woman army leading. Well, not even that. It's not even a one woman army. She's just leading the charge here. She is the tip of the spear, and the rest of Grumpy Grapes have been following along as best as they possibly can and picking up what they can that has been left over. well, we're getting deeper and deeper into this round. Yoshi going to pull off of rafters. The audio cue's given, so she just has that information. She can now pull back and look to play some of these angles and try and contest here. It will be Ellie, though, that will be looking to push into CCTV here in a moment. So it's going to be a hard gunfight for Yoshi to try and win, but at the moment, just they're taking their time. This is definitely Nutty Gaming realizing the position they find themselves in. They are in very real risk of losing out a map that looked very, very solid for them.
Certainly. Well, for now, Ellie's going to try to make some moves here and make an effort to get rid of Yoshi relatively early into the round, but already half a round has been drained out. Instead, it's Fallen Prestige that managed to completely collapse the trap here onto Yoshi. The rest of the roster was still able to fall back. Cass is still around in hopes of finding herself a frag, and goes into a gunfight, finds Lee, nearly gets another one. She does get Fallen Prestige, and just like that,
20
already
frags.
hitting the 20.
22
Yeah, there we go.
and 8. Cass is popping off. This is phenomenal gameplay. It's Cthulhu. I'm sorry, I cut you out. That is not something you see every day in competitive Siege, and the fact that it is Grumpy Grapes that have pulled it back from a 4-2 half to absolutely just smash out every round. And Cass, this is the healthiest we've seen her in a long while, and she's still ready to compete.
Yeah, she's keen for some more angles to be contested. Did fall back to a little bit more of a passive angle, but for the time being, it looks like the right decision. Playing for time yet again, giving Nutty Gaming a taste of their own medicine, as it seems that right now the attackers are certainly struggling with the timing, with just deciding as to whether they want to go, because right now Ellie is going for a solo push on the main stairs. Will be met with quite some force there. Firstly, there's Scoops Gaming also holding a very nice angle. And potentially, if Cass wants to play around that, she could also forfeit those attempts. Already, another push is happening, but Aussie is all blinded, and the plant will be successful, but the angle is there. Surely goes in for the pre-fire. There's a 1v4. The plant did go down. All up to Ellie right now, but even she cannot stay alive when she faces against Cass.
That is the round picked up here by Grumpy Grapes. They're one round away from taking this away. It started so well. Nutty Gaming looked so confident on the defense. They looked so much in their element on this map. And then the half switched, and it was all the Cass show. It was Grumpy Grapes, the lineup for the evening. And as we head to CCTV, Nutty Gaming have to dig deep here. They have to pull out something absolutely huge. Now, they did win both their attempts at defending CCTV, one on the clock, one on frags. So this is probably their best shot at taking us to double OT here. But with the momentum, with the prowess that Grumpy Grapes are showing, it is a tall order. That much is clear.
Most certainly, it is quite a tall order indeed for Nutty Gaming. They need 2 rounds in a row to be won if they do want to win this out. For Grumpy Grapes, Grumpy Gaming at this point. We're just butchering the name all over the place, but yeah, look, GG has a really solid chance here at winning, but like you said, CCTV has been the site that was pretty well defended by Nutty Gaming, and this is going to be the test, I suppose, for GG's communication and the fragging ability.
We do see the 6 pick off the Echo. It's going to be a mute instead. They want to try and keep that information out of the hands of Grapes Gaming. Hesitation has really been the bigger issue for Grapes Gaming. Sorry, I keep saying gaming. It's Grumpy Grapes. That has been their biggest issue. They start well, they hesitate, it slows down, and then they just cannot translate it into a round win. 22 and 8. That is. So, for every death that Cass has unfortunately had, she has been involved in 3 frags. That's just that is big stats. That is some big numbers, and, well, I mean, we saw some big numbers last week. This is just above and beyond that.
Most certainly, yeah, and that was just off the sheer fragging. No other utility that has been used, at least to my knowledge, or rather, no explosives or gas canisters or any of that, so definitely quite an achievement already, but it's not over yet, so she might be able to maybe even get herself to 25, make that kind of just a quarter point out of 100. But for now, well, it looks like a bit of a split push, funnily enough, from Grumpy Grapes, as 3 people will be going in for the push through the jacuzzi, 2 people on the breach for the CCTV to see if they can apply just enough pressure to distract the defense from the push from behind. And it seems that, interestingly enough, actually, Yoshi possibly could be making an entry through the strip club, whereas the rest of the players will be attempting to just jump in through the window, funnily enough. Okay.
Well, I mean, look, it's an interesting bomb site CCTV. It's one of those ones that you almost have to go for a split approach to act, competently take the bomb site. If you all just funnel in the same way, you're going to struggle. Scoops, unfortunately, not seeing Ellie, and this is Ellie at her element. If she's unscouted, if she is able to find these tight angles and use them, she will, and she'll use it quite well. Fallen the trade, the victim, unfortunately, there for Nutty Gaming. So we're back even. They lose out on the ace, though, so now it's on Nova to try and get that breach open if she possibly can. Malusi down as well. It's not the worst thing, but they will get the breach open here. So now this is where things start to get a bit tight for Nutty Gaming. They have to hold their angles. They have to win their gunfights, because if they lose control of the bomb site, they could be in a lot of trouble. And Nova playing a dangerous game. There is a soft wall that she now needs to worry about into rafters. She's looking for the angle through the window, but the prone form is there. And this is where we need to start to see that acceleration for Grumpy Grapes. They need to get into con. They need to start pressuring into cash so that they execute and the plant can go down.
Yeah, Ellie right now will be able to play around that Malusi gadget quite well. Actually has the really nice prone angle as well right under the table, so should have the element of surprise whenever the gunfight does erupt. And well, there we go. Does manage to find the shot onto Yoshi, as it looks like Nutty Gaming certainly back into the play here.
Oh, Ellie in her element, finding more. She might even be able to get herself 15. This could be one of the big frag games of the season. At least individual frags anyway. And Grumpy pushing in with one. Cass is there, coming up red stairs, wins the first. That's Crystal to go down. Can she find anything else? But it's Aussie to find Ellie from the backside. Distracted for a second. Cass finds Lee. It is now a 2 versus 1 with 25 seconds left to play. Mardina is locked into rafters. Can she find an angle? There is a player down. Nova in the middle of the bomb site. Diffuser is not there in favor. And Cass finds the final frag. Head blowing off. Grumpy Grapes bring it back from a 4-2 deficit to take the entire map 8-6.
My goodness, Cass completely just taking apart the whole opposition. Being able to take those 3 frags for herself has been absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, like you said, 25 kills to 8 deaths for her, with the next 2 players following with 10 kills, just to emphasize how much potential, how much strength did Cass bring in, and how instrumental she was to the victory here.
Absolutely phenomenal gunplay coming out from Cass. It took her a bit to get warmed up, but when she got there, boy was she clicking heads. A number of multi-frags coming out throughout those rounds. A number of hugely impactful kills. They kept their cool in the dying moments of that round. Yes, the time was quickly running out, but they knew where the final player was. They knew that they could go together and win it out, and that's exactly what they did. They take the map, and well deserved. That is exactly the case here. Grumpy Grapes played that phenomenally.
Well, an absolute banger of a success here for Grumpy Grapes. Quite a sensational comeback that they've pulled off. Well, does grant them that dub, as they do put themselves up on a leaderboard. But that is not yet it for tonight as well. We still have one more matchup coming right up. That is going to be Renz versus Calypso. That is coming up right after this break. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We shall be back.
So basically, what Cthulhu's been saying is, welcome back to this evening. We're in season 4. We got some great. We got another great series ahead of us. It is going to be Renz versus Calypso. We're just sorting that out. We saw an absolute hell of a match to kick things off, and we are going to be getting into it. Hopefully, he gets himself sorted. Is he back? Have we got? Am I still here alone? Are you just going to have to sit here and watch puppet? Is he back? Is he back?
I should be back,
Yes.
hopefully.
Okay,
Okay,
so he's back. Cthulhu, we're back. we got it sorted. There we go.
Right. Anyways, as we were saying, so we just seen a sensational match between the Nutty Gaming and the Grumpy Grapes, and as we've just also see off stream, 2-7-0s, quite dominant performances by Nocturnal and Elevate, seeing themselves in on the top of the leaderboard, and well, Grumpy Grapes will be now finally sitting with that extra dub. Now we do have one more matchup that is going to be the Renz versus Calypso. Now, Panda, you've predicted, just like you did predict an OT with Grumpy Grapes versus Nutty, Renz versus Calypso. Do you reckon this could be another OT?
Well, we've our first match went OT 8-6. The two matches in between 7-0s. I mean, look, there is, we could round this evening out with yet another overtime matchup. And these two teams, they had fairly similar results in week number 1. I mean, actually, they had dissimilar results. Sorry. It was Renz, they took out 71st Recon last week, 7-2. And Calypso, they got 7-1 by Elevate. So, I mean, this is sort of going to set the pace of the pack. Calypso, technically at the bottom of the table just because of the way the alphabet works, but not because of how they play, in general, but also, I suppose, round differential, getting 7-1, not the greatest. This is going to sort of decide who is sitting towards the bottom of the pack going into the later weeks here. This could be Calypso's chance to claw it back. It could also be it could be Ren's chance to, again, get themselves that second win on the board, push themselves up towards the top positions on the leaderboard. But there's still a lot. I've talked continuously about how there are these unknowns coming into play days, and we saw half of this matchup on screen last week. We haven't seen the Renz. They got a 7-2, so there is a possibility that they could repeat that same result again.
All right, well, let's actually have a look at the rosters as well. Introduce the Renz. We shall be seeing Angry Wolf, AZ, or as Bernabear, Brunek, and Sporky come around. Az and Sporky being the two fresh introductions into the roster, and Bernabear, Brunek, and Angry Wolf making a return. Gotta say, Bernabear's stats, I'm definitely digging those.
Yeah, that's some big numbers. In fact, some of the biggest numbers we have in the competition at the moment. There's not a massive divide, but she has been there. She has been involved. 198 kills all up for this individual player means that there is longevity here, and there is also incredible effectiveness. And in fact, it's the most on this lineup. So I think if anyone is going to be the anchor of this team, it is going to be Bernabear. I hesitate to think that we might have another Cass level performance here, but she is going to be a standout nonetheless.
Well, let's have a look at Calypso's roster, refresh our memory as well here. It's the returning roster. We got Repel, Fishnoodle, Bosch, Time for Pie, and Diana coming into play, and Omnom as their sub player. So overall, a pretty solid roster, some solid numbers as well on the board. 3 players with some triple digits to their name in overall stats. So gotta say, this is definitely looking like a solid roster, although when they played against Elevate, unfortunately for them, it was a 7-1.
Yeah, I think that doesn't speak to necessarily their capabilities at all. It just speaks more to how capable, this Elevate roster coming into this season is. They've got the momentum, having won the last 2 seasons. They've got that. They've got that it factor, I suppose you want to call it, in Rainbow Six. That the ability to gel. They have that comfortability around each other as well, especially in game, and that's what you're looking for. Calypso, there has been a couple of changes for this roster. They're formerly the Exto roster. So there has been a couple of changes in the last 12 months for these ladies, and well, hopefully they can start to gel. They can start to find a rhythm as they go through this season, or the rest of the season anyway, and start to bring things back. But this is the first step up the mountain towards the playoff stage.
Indeed. Well, last thing that we need to touch up on is the map. And this time we actually do have quite a break from the clubhouse streak that we had so far. It is going to be the Oregon to actually come around, and I'm actually quite excited given the fact that this map is still seeming to be in that development stage where we, for the most of it, the kind of the meta usually sets in, and then all of a sudden you have a few of the teams that just completely blast through that kind of that stalemate.
Yeah, I mean, we're what 3 for 4 clubhouse at the moment on stream, so it's going to be good to go to something a little bit different. Explore what these teams are capable of on other maps, because there was no possibility where we were just going to see clubhouse for the rest of the season, because teams, as soon as they identify those their opponents that are capable on this map, they're going to want to start to ban it out more. And it was actually Calypso that banned it out, and I think that's probably because of the result they had last week against Elevate. They might have felt comfortable, but a lot of these teams are proving very, very capable in their own right on this map. So the more that we see it played, the more we're probably going to see it taken away as we head to close out the second half of the split. And well, it makes a lot of sense. Oregon, another map that teams have taken to like ducks to water. So again, it's one that should be well known. Strategies should be well adapted. And I mean, I'm excited to see what both teams have prepared coming into this.
Well, let's have a quick look before we get straight into the map. It is the wonderful Oregon, the one and only, with Renz actually kicking things off on the defense, I believe. And look, Ren's kicking things off on the defense. Attack is going to be in the hands of Calypso. So honestly, really, really excited for all of this. And curious how will the general play out will really happen here.
Yeah, well, I mean, coming into the operator ban phase, this again, it's one of those things. I said it last map. It can determine the pacing of a number of these rounds. Chances are we're going to see that Thatcher banned away, probably paired with something like the Ace. And there we go, Thatcher. That one is almost a freebie currently at the moment in terms of competitive pick ban. But it's what we see Calypso now opt into. Is it going to be something like the Ace? Is it going to be Jackal? Is it going to be something like the Sledge last time we saw them play? Probably less than likely, but we could see some deviations.
Well, talking about deviations, it is going to be Nomad to be brought on the bench, I suppose, and straight off the bat, Angry Wolf is not particularly happy about it. So it seems that Calypso are doing some solid homework there before their match, so certainly it's a solid sign. Another ban, it is going to be the Kayed, so the Wind Bastion duo completely out of the equation, and certainly Kayed can have a really solid turnout here whenever he gets the play, whenever he gets to deny some of the walls, and well, for the final one, it is going to be a mirror taking out of the equation. So overall, this is looking like a pretty spicy lineup. No, minimal, I suppose, flank watch with the gadgets, and more so of an active that will need to happen. So maybe higher emphasis on the roam game even.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we're starting to see more and more on maps that are as vertically diverse. Like as Oregon, you'll see Nomad bans coming out on the likes of Cafe, or from time to time on Clubhouse, but it's a little bit less prominent. But certainly the likes of Cafe, the likes of Oregon, the likes of Consulate as well, you will from time to time see that Nomad ban. And it indicates usually that a team is prioritizing heavy roam on the defense. They have, basically their own version of cast that will be looking to play big roam on the defense, will be looking to try and disrupt the attack, or at least waste time where they can, and they want to enable that as much as possible.
Quick another note to mention, we are actually seeing a pick of Twitch. They operated that ever since the release of likes of Mozzie and some of the buffs to Mute has certainly seen a bit of a decrease in the pick rate, or rather, just her gadget been made a little bit more redundant in certain situations. So with her reappearing here, I'm definitely curious how will Twitch will be played out, whether it's going to be more so just for the fragging power of the F2, or whether the drone work is, or rather drone play is there. Interestingly enough, still setups are happening, and quite a passive one, nonetheless, from Angry Wolf, which does makes me think if it is going to be more so just the play for utility here from the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you expect on a basement bomb site. So these ladies, sorry, they're definitely well versed in what is current meta strategies, and they understand how to play it. The setup is very much there, but Repel are going to be in, looking to get themselves down main stairs. A lot of drone work that is needed to be done on this bomb site. You want to make sure that your flanks are clear. You don't have to worry so much about that pinch that will come later on. And as you can see, the defensive setup is primarily downstairs. You can see 4 on your map at the moment as Time for Pi looking to clear things out. The final remaining player potentially going to be sitting up somewhere around dorms. I wouldn't be surprised at all. No, okay, so it's over towards dining. It is Burner Bear on the Jaeger, looking to go for a bit of that flank. And yeah, nothing crazy out of the ordinary. It does come down to Calypso, though, how well they can clear the utility, how well they can get those openings up early and ready to go. And, well, how well they can read into this fact that Jaeger is offside.
Definitely well right now, Burner Bear trying to find some sort of engagement, but oh, double peek right just like this. Will be not granting any kind of frag, but that was very unfortunate there for the Jaeger player of the Rens. Well, at the very least for Calypso, this is a chance to kick things off very quickly and very easily, because right now Brunek is being pressured at her position, and that shield looks like it's just going to get taken out very quickly. AZ, no, unfortunately to her demise, burned down by the Goyo shield, and well, Brunek is in a whole lot of danger right now.
Well, yeah, it's a 5 versus 3 at the moment. Brunek has to do something, can't do anything. Time for Pi doubles up in this round, and this is a big improvement from what we saw last time around from the Calypso squad. Sporky going to have something to say about it, though. Swings in, finds Repel on that Ash, and will do as much damage as possible. Angry Wolf's still there, so they've got guns in hand that they can utilize to try and shut this down. In fact, they have some very effective guns, the Vector and the MP7, and really just absolutely tear through people if they're not careful. In Time for Pi, gonna lead the charge, looking to try and find it. Triple swings, finds the head. Sporky goes down. Last player remaining will be found again. Time for Pi opens things up with a big 4K.
Looks like she's all ready and prepared. The team trainers are all there. She is ready to just smash the competition, and this looked like a very dominant round, which almost feels like how Elevate, kind of how fierce they were on some of the peaks, and that was only from a single player, Panda.
Yeah,
I believe that was
time for Pi just went for, I mean, like just full center. It wasn't even reckless play. She just, as soon as she saw her head, that head was gone. It was just systematic and clinical.
Definitely, yeah, that was just very well calculated peaks of that fantastic drone play, and really just no remorse there whatsoever. The moment the realization that, hey, well, there's all the defenders are just downstairs, not even any time was wasted to really check anything around here. The moment Burner Bear died, the rest was pretty much just a easy deconstruction.
Well, this time around, we see a different approach for the attack. I think this is purely a read into what Burner Bear's positioning was in that previous round. They're bringing the Lion. They want to catch up those roamers nice and early on. They are looking to kick things off with, well, it's in fact the only change. It's for Fish Noodle rather than a Twitch, because really, I couldn't identify something or anything specific that was the result of
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and
the
defuse it.
twitch in the previous round, but you can see Rens they're back downstairs. They're looking to do largely the same thing again, but you see the large number of players here for Calypso that are spawning con. They're going to split between. Well, actually, no, they're all heading towards tower. It seems at the moment. More drone work. Again, this is just Calypso. Same way as they brought it last round. Clinical, well thought out, disciplined play.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Bernabe was looking quite keen on trying to maybe find an angle early on from the garage, but Fish Noodle's opening of the window pretty much forced her out of that spot. Diana also does spot Bernabe's position, and well, the call for time for pie has been given away. Same goes for Fish Noodle as well. Locks in the Jaeger for a short bit, but Bernabe already falling back all the way to the white stairs and will be pushing back maybe through the freezer stairs, but it seems actually she is willing to keep on competing. Similar angle that she's planning to actually take, but this time Repel has her sights trained on that very angle.
Yeah, there was no way that they were going to be punished by this angle again, and well, it really is going to come down to that one. And Bernabe, in fact, reading into that, is going to rotate off. Fish Noodle there this time will take the head off the Jaeger. Unfortunately, this roam just not paying out for Ren's. Second round in a row here that it has been read into, has been punished. And, I mean, you're looking at maybe 30 points of health in terms of damage that has been done.
Yeah, up next is Boshe, who will try to contest against AZ, and right now, just a couple flashbangs to maybe drain out some of that utility. Is there dodging those bullets. Repel is also there to assist. We'll be forcing AZ to fall back, and another set of flames, well, this time won't be burning down the smoke player, and that is a successful fallback here. As now, well, already a minute remaining, and only a single frag has been achieved, so this time it's definitely looking a little bit more dangerous, but Brunek potentially might fall here, and there it is. Repel does hunt her down.
I mean, it's exactly the same as the previous round. Systematic, they're covering their bases, they're doing their jobs, they are clearing out every single bit of utility that is going to present itself as a hazard that they now need to deal with. Hyperpie swinging in again. Can't quite win it the second time around. Sporky will just get away for the moment. And as that E1D comes out, Fish Noodle down freezer finds Angry Wolf looking the wrong way. Sporky to follow up. Boshe finds that one. All of a sudden, it's AZ. It has survived longer than it did previously because of that Vulcan shield, but it's a 1v4. Diana going for the plant, looking to stick it out. Boshe swing the angle, just absolutely dismantled. The only way I can think to describe it, and what a this is a complete 180 from the Calypso we saw last week.
Yeah, definitely looking like they now finally in their element. Looking like maybe Calypso are going to be the ones who will be progressing through the season, kind of perfecting their craft of the siege and potentially even contesting against Elevate in the playoffs yet again. But that is all still a very far-fetched question. For now, the question at hand here is, will the Rens stack be able to find some sort of solution and some clapback to against the what seems to be an insurmountable force that is the Calypso at the moment?
Well, I mean, this is a good read coming out of Rens. They're going to change things up. They're not going to be heading back down to basement. It's something I talk to casters, I talk to coaches, I talk to players about. If you are heading back to the same bomb site more than twice in a row, your opponents understand your strategy. In fact, there's a good chance that they understand your strategy after that first round. So if you are going there a third time, by that stage, they have it down packed. In fact, they could probably recite it to you almost verbatim as to how you've been running it. So this is a good read. They want to change things up slightly. They want to go for a slightly different approach. And if they could pull that off, if this time, this could be the disruptor they need to start getting points on the board and start changing that momentum. It's not every day that you see Oregon being attacker side.
Definitely, and it's in general a good thing to really sometimes just switch things up and get yourself out of that loop. Now, looking at the setup, no presence whatsoever on the white stairs. As a matter of fact, that is completely castled off with a motion detector. Double window into the main bunks is also castled off, as well as that, the entry into the walk-in closet. So what Rens are doing here, it seems, is going for as even more impactful, I suppose, way of draining the utility, that soft breach, because right now Repel already used up one of her breaching charges, so up next she will need to use it on at least one of the castle barricades before it can even access that wall from the walking closet, and then another one possibly to get rid of the Goyo shield, which has 2 of the Jaeger ADSs, so a whole lot of things need to be sorted here before even a sheer thought of the push can really even emerge.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stall that is available here to the Wrens, but Angry very much hesitant in the situation. Will pull off the angle. Time for Pi, as well as Diana coming in from the attic side of things. So a multi-pronged attack, multi-faceted approach here. They're still trying to deal with this Voltage and Bernabet playing from Armory. We're hitting that halfway mark for the round. Not a single point of damage has been contested here. And finally, the Vulcan Shield into Trophy will go down. They will start to look to make that pressure onto the bomb site known and start to whittle away at the remaining utility here for Wrens. But there's still a lot of players in position to contest. They're all very much near the bomb site. Time for Pi. They start walking an ADS burn. They're starting to just drain away the remaining defenses here for Wrens. And you could feel the pressure, feel the pinch. You can see just how much ground they have now lost in holding this defense.
Indeed, but Brunek is actually still quite keen on contesting this very angle, although the drone work has been absolutely clinical here from Calypso's, and being able to get an extreme amount of information. Already they know the position of the 2 of the defenders, and for Repel that means that she can push out at a very aggressive angle in the master bedroom. But already 45 seconds remaining, the breach is yet to be commenced as the mute jammer is still actually in play, so it means that Repel might actually try to go into play from up above, but with Bernabet finding a shot onto Fish Noodle, that is going to be an issue because that is Twitch and she's no more.
And Berna, she's getting a bit of revenge here the last 2 rounds in a row. She has been the opening frag. Finally, she is the one to take it away. And as we are getting closer and closer, Calypso now have to go for the force to execute here. They're a man down, but they have the guns, they have the utility to try and force out players. Just feeding in, Sporky goes down, time for Pi, just clicks heads. Repel finds Angry Wolf as well, so they are connecting. Repel for 2. Bernabet coming in from the backside as will drop Repel at least, but it's a 3 versus 2. Plant is down. Burner from the backside could do some real damage. He hasn't spotted she didn't spot the player next to him, but she got it anyway. 3 kills of the round. That could have gone horrendously wrong. All of a sudden, it's Bosch from behind, has to find the frag, just ticking away the damage there. But Burner, it's going to be the exact same play we saw in map number 1. Pros don't fake. She will stick it out, have the coverage. My lord, it started so well for Calypso, but their defense was there. They locked him out. And Bernabet using Calypso's own rotation into attic with the Maverick Torch against them.
How come Time for Pi didn't hear Bernabet approach as well? That was so up close, but that was such a phenomenal play, gotta say, from the Jaeger of the Wrens. That was definitely a banger there, gotta say.
Yeah, it's one of those things you gotta wonder, you gotta question, and well, it's a round on the board. That's exactly what they're looking for here, and well, they need to pick up a couple more if they can. We'll see. We'll just see how it translates, but we are going to be heading down to Meeting Hall Kitchen. This bomb site is, again, it's really a preference between the teams, whether it's Meeting Hall or dining that you pair with Kitchen. But a lot of strategies now coming out that make Meeting Hall the superior bomb site.
Yeah, quite a few iterations we've seen as well, with plentiful amount of the vertical play to come around from the hatch in the attic, from the play from above in the kids' bedroom right above the kitchen side, and quite a few setups. As it seems like actually Wrens are planning to play a similar kind of game with the castle, just close off some of those flank points, I suppose, and use that extra expansion as the extra cover. Similarly to how in the old meta, some teams will play border on the workshop and vents with the expansion into the toilets as well, which I believe was actually initially introduced in ANZ by Mindfreak, or aka what now known as, at least in part, Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be done in this setup. You want to cover ground, you want to keep the vertical control if you can. And that is exactly what Angry is positioned up here to do. Has Sporky as well in proximity, so they could still make that happen. But I mean, the way that Calypso has been approaching these bomb sites, it's I've said it again, clinical. It's disciplined. They have their jobs and they do them very, very well. And so we could see another bomb or another round go down to the wire because Calypso approach it very well, but they just don't quite find that information they need to deal with the flank.
Yeah, another thing to mention here is the very widespread positions of all the defenders, as a matter of fact. No, not a whole lot of positions where you can see really any ability to refrag. And this is what could possibly be an issue because already an angle is being opened. Diana is completely just ignoring the fact that there may be an echo, and similar could be said for Angry Wolf. She's completely oblivious to a potential of the push, and maybe Time for Pi could really spot the position of the echo. No, completely barricaded away, so maybe an echo right now will be able to find some sort of a gunfight here, but that still yet remains to be seen.
I think Angry Wolf acknowledges that she might be in a bit of trouble at the moment, and Mute Jammer in place is just making things difficult for the most part. Yeah, Angry Wolf should have every idea that there is someone looking to try and find that information. Drone goes in, so they confirm the positioning. It will just be a drop down. The Maverick is seen on that stage wall, so again, it's just more comms that are being fed through that the realistic threat is now in position to go for that execute. They've Maverick tricked the wall. They can look to open it up, but it's Burner Bear to find Fish 2 rounds in a row. Burner is getting that revenge down in the basement. Once again, we are seeing these deep roams from Jaeger players coming to big effect.
Indeed, and well, right now, Brunek is just getting absolutely destroyed there. I was nearly said minced there. But yeah, just like that, very easy, very quick frag onto one of the players in the meeting, and now this will be forcing Bernabe potentially to rotate into the meeting entrance, as right now the flood is yet again going to happen. Boucher is there also to start covering. 13 seconds remaining. The push needs to happen. There's multiple angles as well, but the first frag does come out onto Diana. There's one from Sporky up from up above. They're completely unaware, but there is covering from Time for Pi. Bernabe and AZ need to cover it as it is 2v3 post plan, but Bernabe does go down to a long angle.
Time for Pi, one frag away from getting another 4K. AZ going for the flank. Can she find it? Oh, just pushed off the angle. It's actually Diana to mop it up from behind. The pitch was there and it was incredibly effective. 3-1, the current standing in this half. And I don't think I've seen an attacker disparity this significant in a good long while.
Yeah, this has been definitely a very interesting matchup so far. On one hand, we have some really good positioning from the Wrens. They seem to have a pretty good knowledge, pretty good theoretical knowledge, I suppose, of the game, of how it should be played. But then you have on the other end Calypso, who have just absolutely correct frags, and not to discredit any of them. As a matter of fact, all of them were able to pitch in at certain points so far in the match into the success of their team. And well, with that said already, it's a 3-1 scoreline, and looks like possibly we could be seeing yet another point to be achieved, as we are going to go to yet again kitchen meeting, as it seems to be like the trend here within Wrens. As if they fail a sight, they will retry it one more time. If not, well, moving on.
Yeah, you can see Wrens, they have an idea of what they want to be doing in this situation. They have a game plan, but unfortunately Calypso have just been able to read it every single time. So, I mean, this is that situation where a lack of flexibility for a team can be a real issue if you're not able to adapt on the fly. If you don't have that flexibility or fluidity, you can find yourself just playing the same thing round in, round out. And this castle barricade, it's exactly the same setup we saw from them previously. I'm surprised we're not seeing somewhat more of an aggressive setup. You want to play someone maybe armory stairs, look to contest that front door, stop them from getting the control that way. But, I mean, look, Calypso, I think it speaks more to their ability to read into these situations and play off them than, you know, a lack of skill from Wrens. It's just Calypso's game to win here.
That is true. And another thing to really mention, in regards to the frag as well, at the moment it seems like, I mean, looking at the points, there's been quite a heavy reliance on Bernabé and maybe occasionally Sporky as well to get the frag. So it seems like whenever it does go down to just sheer fragging power, it seems it's at the moment more so of a 2v5 kind of game, whereas the rest of the team is still yet to kind of get on board or rather find some sort of proper success. So it certainly is quite taxing, I would imagine, and given the fact that Bernabé was only able to find a few opening frags before she got shut down, or rather closed off from the position, it is certainly an issue to really talk about.
Once again, we see the same approach coming out from Calypso. They're going to open up the wall from stage. And, this angle can be one that could be detrimental, but I don't know whether that was a good read from Calypso, but again, they just have an understanding of what Rens are trying to do. Burner, unfortunately, caught out yet again. And it really has been a battle between Burner and Fish Noodle as to who is the unfortunate player that goes down first.
At the moment, it's only Brunek who's holding the angle in the meeting, and Bosche already spotted her, which is going to be quite an issue. Time for Pi finding yet another shot onto Angry Wolf, this time in the early stages, shutting down that pressure from the attic, but Brunek is able to actually find a refrag onto Repel, so that is a good beginning. That is the Ash out of the equation. Nearly finds another shot onto Time for Pi, but right now with 59 seconds remaining, not much is yet done by Calypso, minus the openings, but the pressure is on, it's ramping up. AZ finds a shot onto Diana, but a quick refrag by Time for Pi is there as well. Maybe another angle to be found as the shotgun is out.
Time for Pi is just racking up these multi-frags here, and, well, there's still time. If they have the man advantage, AZ will give away that positioning, though, or just tag Time for Pi in the knee. There used to be an adventurer like you, but until she took an SPWL in the knee, but Bosche finds Sporky. Nitro Cell Deep, unfortunately, gets stuck on the wall. So can't find... Oh, no! A quick turn means that the kill does go the way of AZ, but it's a 1v2. Bosche tags, so is Fish Noodle. This could be an easy mop-up here for AZ. With 12 seconds left, someone has to force it. Someone has to run straight in through that breach. They swing. 1, 2, and it's AZ to clutch it up big. These SMG players are going absolutely huge.
Absolute amazing recoil control there as well from AZ, as that does claim the round number 5. So far, 2-3 scoreline, definitely creeping up to a potential draw in the first half. And that was an absolutely amazing play, gotta say. It seems like the moment kind of Time for Pi went down, the rest of the roster kind of stalled out and couldn't really figure out what did they need to do, what needed to happen, and how to really approach that. And well, from there on, for AZ, she just needed to play for time and wait till the attack got desperate.
That's exactly it. And AZ just, well, I mean, you keep your head on, you take the gunfights as they come, and with that SMG 11 in hand, it's an absolute ripper of a gun. Unfortunately, just didn't quite time the swing correctly. I think if they just held it off just a little bit longer, they might have been able to make it work, but no, not the case. AZ takes it, and we're back 2-3. We're looking close to a 3-3 half, and that'll be a great return for Rens, given how this map started.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is definitely, so far, I mean, the whole day has been all about those huge comebacks that we've seen. I mean, the first match definitely proved us some amazing plays, and a return from what was a 4-2 scoreline into an overtime and a win certainly is already quite a statement to how potentially we might be seeing the second match as well turn out.
Well, back up to dorms, and last time we were here, it was Burner with a big defuse off that huge roam up big main tower. We'll see if they can do it again. You've got to imagine that will be playing in the back of Calypso's minds. Last time they went for this, they were caught out off of their own setup, and as a result, their opponents were able to take it away. So hopefully they can figure this one out. They can change and adapt. And look at this. They've opened... Well, they've destroyed the mute jammer that was there, keeping walk-in closet unbreachable. But now they can start to work towards that. The Vulcan shield quickly dealt with again. So it's similar to the last time they were here, but it's a much more accelerated pace.
Oh yeah, I was just about to mention, yeah, the pace is much quicker now. We already have the breach, not even a minute gone by, and already we have a vaultable breach on the way. So now at this point, it is more so now how the Calypso are going to approach their push, because Burnabear is still in the armory. There's still an angle that is being contested by Angry Wolf, and I do believe that the Goyo has been droned out as well, or rather, yeah, well, Boshi will be confirming that very position, whereas we are seeing some form of a push through the attic, but once again it's Brunek holding her angle on her own. So right now it is, I suppose, a question of how quickly will Fishner will be able to get rid of the position of Brunek, as I detest that Burnabear is actually playing in the garage.
Again, they've tried to get creative with this off-site presence, and this could be the big one. Rotating in from garage could shut down anyone coming in from main door. The DMR in hand there for Fish Noodle on the Twitch, so some big damage going to be the call that has been made there. And we're hitting that 1 minute mark. It was accelerated to kick things off, but they've slowed down. They've had to deal with all this utility. They are in position to go for that execute, but Burnabear hasn't been dealt with was key in how things played out. And there we go. Diana just taken out cleanly from meeting room through that hatch. They haven't set themselves up with the tools to figure out where this offsite presence is, and it's already a huge thorn on the side. No longer having that Maverick with the M4 and the frag grenades is going to be absolutely brutal. Burner now has the option to rotate up White Stairs and rejoin the defense with 30 seconds left.
Indeed, whereas Time for Pie is left questioning whether there is any presence now below her or not, and, well, she needs to push Brunek, who is still fully healthy. Not a single frag has been found on the side of Calypso, but just as I said that, it's Fishner finding Burnabear on the roam, but already the damage has been done, and oh, Time for Pie going huge, but finally does get traded out as just everything is falling apart for both teams. 3v2, but the diffuser has been dropped, the plant needs to happen, and the frags need to happen, but as of now, this is all falling apart. Repel is the one planting, and oh, there's the knife diffuse comes around. Renz win out this round. It is the draw.
Yeah, they really just have brought it back from the brink here. The way that they have clawed it back to that 3-3 mark, which is absolutely phenomenal given how things started. I don't think they could be any happier with how things are going. They do now have to head to the attack, and they might find themselves struggling a little bit. But I mean, to come back from the point where they were staring down the barrel of a 4-2 half on the defense as well, that's got to be pretty good.
Most definitely. Well, at the very least, yeah, one would say that the Calypso's onslaught has been completely thwarted. 2 rounds in a row achieved by the Renz is definitely feeling really good out here. So now that we have seen a switch over to now the Calypso's defense, curious if there's going to be a whole lot of change. I mean, we are seeing already the Maestro to be brought on board and slightly different changes, as it seems like maybe we are going to be seeing a little bit more up by the breach kind of hold, and a few more peak holes to contest from the distance, so quite possibly this is going to be a very remote hold, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's sort of the more aggressive pillar hold. You want to be contesting straight out into con. You want to slow down that push in towards elbow that will inevitably be coming, and just make things that little bit easier for Diana. So it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize this at this stage, because it is a setup that has its inherent flaws. If you lose control of Big Tower, you don't have that information. The player that is sitting pillar could find themselves being caught out by a frag or an impact or something like that, especially when a Vulcan is on the board. So they do need to cover their bases, and well, with Burnabear playing on the Ash, walking straight in, it's going to shoot out the camera, so position is revealed. Bit of a pre-fire there for Fish. Return to the angle. Not quite finding each other in that, but that's already. They've lost control of Big Tower. They don't want to take that fight. They want players on site that they can keep the control of the defense going, because otherwise it could start to really slip away from them quite fast.
Bomb located by attackers.
Funnily enough, actually, we are still yet to see a push from the up front for Angry Wolf, as she is looking to actually push solo here, and she would actually meet with potential resistance from players like Time for Pie and more. A bit of an angle being held by AZ, who's looking into getting some long-range engagements and all. Could possibly find the pixel angle, but it seems like good timing. For Time for Pi will be ensuring that she stays alive. She knows exactly where one of the attackers could be, but she's not particularly looking too keen on challenging that, seeing as few angles could be quite deadly there.
Yeah, now they're going to start trying to work towards the hatch in meeting so they can get that vertical control into E-Box. They want to try and enable them to keep control of the pressure. Burner going to be tagged up a little bit here by Fish Noodle, I would imagine, yeah, onto the big tower stairs. They know that there's a player there. They have the crossfire set up, and if they can translate that into a frag, it opens things up, and there we go. Time for Pi swinging, joining in fact, from Kitchen. Can she find the next one? No, unfortunately, she cannot. AZ will find the trade, and it really has been these two fraggers on both teams that have strung together the big kills so far on this map, and whether or not that can continue, it seems it will. AZ finds Fish Noodle as they push down Laundry Stairs, and they're going to look to go for that plant.
Apparently already smoke grenades do come out as well. Repel takes quite a chunky amount of damage, but AZ does go down. Another attempt at the plant does go down. Angry Wolf finds a shot at Boshe, and all of the Calypso roster has all of a sudden fell apart. It's all down to Diana. She's trying to clutch it out in a 1v3, but completely oblivious to the position. There's one. There's potentially two. Shotgun out. Needs to find that shot, but no, cannot connect that buckshot onto Sporty, and well, that is another win, now in hands of Rens.
Unfortunate. That's the only way to describe it. It looked like that shotgun was going to be in the right place to take him out, and well, that's the first attacking round of the half that does go the way of Rens. We could see yet another reverse sweep being played out here. It's going to be interesting to see how the adaptations come in for Calypso as we head back downstairs, as we head into round number 8, basement again, and it's that unfortunate situation where if they lose this one, do they go back there again? Because if they do, that's where things start to get a bit rough.
Yeah, similar trend emerging here. Another retry from Calypso, wanting to really try to nail it home here on this very site, seeing as it is a favorable site for both of these teams. For them, they will be hoping that the second attempt is going to be a much more successful comparative to the previous one. Main thing I do feel that kind of derailed Ren's, or rather Calypso's success here, is the fact that Rens just flat out decided to pull a 180, and the moment they realized that there's just too much congestion up in the tower stairs, they just full-on fell back to the main stairs from the main entry and just pushed there where there was quite minimal amount of presence. So if Rens can pull similar thing off, swing kind of the momentum between the two borderline opposite positions, then I feel Calypso might fall yet again.
Well, just the approach was very, very solid there from Rens. Yes, they lost a couple of players along the way, but they got themselves in position. They made the call. It's not every day that you'll see a team realize that the push isn't going to be a thing from Big Tower. They make the call, rotate all the way over to the Laundry Stairs, come down, go for the execute, cover their bases, get the plant off, and then just shut down any chance at a retake. And it's exactly what we saw. So, I mean, we said that maybe it was Calypso's game that coming into this, but now it might be Ren's half, in fact, after the switches happened. Because they're starting to win their gunfights. They're starting to find that momentum. They have the round lead now for the first time so far this map. And, I mean, they can look to push off that.
Another interesting thing is that Rens are actually switching things around. Now that they've learned that Time for Pi is doing what's a similar thing that Bear was trying to achieve, which is the roam game on the ground floor, they are being very thorough on that drone game and trying to at least get a few sound cues as to where could the Melusi player be, as Time for Pi actually very cleverly decides to barricade behind her and fall back a little bit, so she will be able to play off a little bit more favorable position, as Bear still thinks that the presence is there. So, meanwhile, a few track stingers have been deployed. It is quite a change of pace, gotta say. More thorough player on the ground floor, but it's already so much time being wasted just by a single player.
Loading new mag.
That's such a brutal angle. I've seen it time and time again come into effect. You hold freezer stairs with a barricade in place. You can see just as much as you need to through the bottom of it. And they were so sure there was a player in security that they lost track of where they were. And Burnabout takes some big damage off the back of it. The way Calypso are doing this, it's not any weak play of any sort, but the call has been made again. The push is going down Laundry Stairs. They're trying to stack themselves up so they can go for that explode onto the bomb site. And when the cover is put in place, drone goes in, it's going to be spotted. So they know that Diane is playing around the washing machines in the rotate towards the storage area. Fish Noodle down the bottom main stairs is going to give that information over to his team that there is someone pushing down tower. Diana finishes off Burnabout with the toxic canister. Fish Noodle finds AZ as well as the push comes down. Rappel just holding down Mouse 1. Try to slow the push into Laundry. Fish Noodle just escaping with her life there. Doesn't want to take the gunfight if she doesn't need to. Time for Pipeline. Brunette. This is just all the kills going the way of Calypso. She rotated in from freezer behind. Cthulhu, we could see another 20 frag game today.
Quite possible that is the play here. I mean, looking at this already, Fish Noodle is back to being absolutely activated there for her team, as well as that Time for Pie is continuing her rampage as well. I mean, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Already 15 kills for Time for Pie. Fish Noodle following up with 6, but still was able to hold off on her own on the tower stairs, and that has definitely been quite a big play from her.
I mean, the indication was there. They banned Nomad. They wanted to play their own game once they hit the defense, and that is exactly what they are starting to do here. Time for Pie freely rotating out, and we will see a bit of a change up at potentially from the Wren's starting lineup. And there we go, Zero making it through. It is available in competitive play at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how Sam Fisher has utilised the information gathering tools off the Argus launches. And, I mean, the name of the game is information. If they can set it up and utilise it effectively, this could help. It could be a tool that enables them to take this map away.
Definitely, and I do believe that this is actually the first time we are seeing Zero to be brought on board here in the competitive play, or rather in the Women's League competitive play. I'm genuinely quite curious to see how much of an impact can he do, because
5 seconds to go.
I'd say, in my eyes, it is his utility is more so like a merger between the Valk and the Twitch, and as in it allows quite some flexibility in the positioning and the flank watch, as well as that just a very quick and easy riddance of certain gadgets. So for example, say there's a Zero cam on the floor up around the gaming area, easy riddance of the new jammer as well. But for that to really happen, first there needs to be a kill onto Fish Noodle, as well as that AZ took, I'm assuming that was some team damage, because I don't think there was any pre-fire from above or around the study area.
I mean, it could have been Bosch, but yeah, there's any number of possibilities that we probably won't ever know unless we ask them. You can tell Calypso, the way they're positioning, the way they're moving around the bomb site, they're ready and wanting to contest these angles if they can. Fish Noodle and Time for Pie downstairs, but Time has been tagged up. Oh, Rappel, look at this angle. They are using Pie as bait in this situation. Rappel's waiting. Just come on, push through the door. Claymore goes out. That's an audio cue that will be given. So Rappel will be able to try and shoot it out. And there we go. Swinging in SMG-11. Oh, just unfortunately, the angle was not there. And as a result, she will go down. It's a kill picked up in favor of the Wrens. It's also a mute off the board. And yeah, there we go. The trade is there. It's found and unfortunately traded back in the favor of the Wrens. But this is a very heated, very contested second half.
Most certainly, and Diana is there, all keen and prepared, but seems that AZ spotted out that spot much earlier. Well, for now, it's maybe Time for Pie on the flank, but Diana is actually good on her own, so that's the control of the White Stairs regained back into the hands of the defense. But right now, there's a push happening. Zero is leading the charge with the with the SC3000, I think that's was it called in game, but alas, the push is yet slowed down by yet another issue, but Brunek does manage to find a shot there. Bosch goes down. It's all down to Diana in time for Pi. Another gas grenade does fling out, but to no avail. Won't be finding a single bit of an attacker, and well, the push needs to happen. Another gas grenade is there.
Well, they need to go for that execute. They need to go hard and fast. Time for Pi finds the Nitro. Even being at that significant health deficit, Diana just tucking in behind the shield on the site. Plant is starting up here for Sporky behind the foosball table. Angry Wolf looking to counteract the push, but Diana swings in, finds the planter, and as unfortunately Angry Wolf was going to cut off the rotate, it has cost her teammate her life, and Diana, watching the swing, just walks across the breach, sprays the head, and it is all over Rover. They do take that round. A very, very tenuous defense, but one that is theirs nonetheless.
Indeed, a quality readaptation with some of the angles, good flanks, good C4 play. Was able to drain every single little bit of the time, utility, and patience from some of the attackers, and well, just like that, the Calypso are back into the play here, back into the lead points-wise. Kitchen and dining hall, though, will be the next choice, as we are going to be seeing some slight departure from the usual meeting and kitchen. And I do feel that the lineup that we are seeing is definitely looking to drawing even more utility at this point, seeing as Wamai and Jaeger now in play.
Well, yeah, they're looking to stall things out. This is an interesting bomb site that can be made or broken by this Showers hold, and with Repel playing that Maestro, wouldn't be surprised at all if we see that position being the one that is most fought over here. And yeah, it's nothing crazy out of the ordinary. It's exactly the setup that you're seeing in top tier play. So again, just shows the depth of knowledge, the depth of understanding that these girls have.
10 seconds left.
Oh yeah, the depth of knowledge here is certainly
5 seconds left.
quite huge, seeing as both teams are actually quite well versed on this map. So for both of them, similar to how Clubhouse is a well-known map for quite a fair few rosters, seems like Oregon seeming to be a similar even play field, but so far Calypso have been showing just a slightly more dominant performance, I gotta say. The ability to frag is probably the huge one that has been popping through, although not to discredit as well, Ren's AZ probably been one of the biggest MVPs as well for that for their roster.
Well, we are 30 seconds in. Time for Pi. He's trying to look for one of those vertical angles, trying to find anything, and just trying to shoot out the remainder of this wall so that she has full vision, full ability to cover this angle as they do look to work their way in. But I mean, Rens, they need to pay their dues here. They need to give respect over to their opponents and drone things out, and already the pings are coming in. Bernabet leading the charge, Walken trying to find... I'm not quite sure what she thought was there, but positioning is well and truly given away now. So Fish Noodle finds AZ, just swinging to always. This is like playground right now. It's just full of swings. Yeah, it's all audio cues. That's all you need. And well, Fish Noodle utilizes them phenomenally. Bernabet isolated here at bottom attic. Will have to pull back. Will have to give up ground. And this upstairs hold of a first floor bomb site is super hard to contest right now.
Indeed. Most of the lineup has already forfeited that position, like you said. Similar can be applied to Bernabet as well. Decided to fall back and actually go in for just pressure on the ground floor, which will now be 10 times more difficult, seeing as there's plenty of those vertical holes to play around for the defense, and Repel is going to definitely start utilizing them very soon and very quickly. Bernabet keen to start contesting some of those angles, but right now there's just way too many spots that she needs to care about before even a single thought of a safe entry could be even toyed with.
They're looking to try and get in. Diana downstairs with the SMG-11 is trying to slow it, and it's actually going to be Bernabet to find. Bosch Plant going down. Brunek has to pull off. The Toxic Canister stuck in the rotate. Unfortunate. We'll have to pull off the angle, but it was so close. Through the wall! We'll take out Brunek and Diffuser. That is absolute confidence. Through the smoke! Diana, just unchecked, takes down 2, will finally be dealt with by Angry Wolf, but the damage is more or less done at this stage. Time for Pi with a Nitro. 16 kills under her belt. The plant does go down. Swinging around the table. Repel will find 1, but is traded out by Angry Wolf at 1v2. That M249 could be the linchpin. We'll see. Swinging in, just jiggling around. Time for Pi. No chance. No clue. Diffuser will be dealt with. Time for Pi. As they move on to map point, needs 3 more kills to hit that 20 mark.
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser.
Pretty sure at this point she will be able to achieve that quite easily, although with a match point and a 6-4 scoreline on the line. Certainly going to require quite some handiwork and some cooperation maybe from the teammates if she wants to drop that 20 bomb. But look, overall, that was just a very clean round. And Diana, my goodness, some of those plays were just clean.
Just the understanding of her surroundings, even with a smoke in play, just read that situation so well. And as we head back down to basement, we are going to be hitting there. It has just been absolutely an absolute slugfest down there. It has gone the way of Wrens so far a couple of times. Once went their way, but the question now comes, can Wrens bring it back? Can we have another overtime map here tonight, or is their dash done? Are Calypso going to take it out? Calypso just going to corral the attackers and funnel them towards Fish, so towards Pi, so she can get her 20, or are they going to greedily take them themselves?
Well, we'll have to find out in just a short few moments, because this could potentially be that final round and the conclusion of the match, or possibly Wrens making a full-on comeback and possibly swing things in their favor. So, look, overall, I gotta say, Calypso so far managed to really improve on their game comparative to even when they played against Elevate, even though it was more so just a story about how much Elevate were just ahead of their opponents just with each and every round. Whereas here, like you said, it was a game for Calypso to win, but certainly also to find some improvements and see how well can they adapt on the go. And well, whilst the kind of the middle of the match so far has been a little bit shaky for them, overall this has definitely been a pretty dominant performance once they've managed to adapt.
Schnoodle again playing this main tower stairs angle, just going for the pre-fires, as it will be Bernabet swinging in to contest through the door, pulling back, not going too aggressive. Drone will be thrown, but shot out instantaneously. They are wary of this upstairs presence. They are trying to hunt it out and deal with it before it can really start to threaten that push. First minute burn, and again, it's just that the Nomad ban was precision play. They did this on purpose to enable their roamers so that they could do this work.
Once again, time for Pi has not been yet fully drawn, and
Oh,
AZ
no.
will be gladly ignoring that very position, which is an issue, but it seems that she is expecting some presence. She knows that that angle could be easily contested, and now finally does spot the Melusi, but the moment the G8 is heard, that position has been forfeited.
Repel onto the player at main tower stairs. Bernabet to go down first. Time for Pi pulling back, looking for a different approach to try and contest this. Will walk past security here, but unfortunately there's a lot of track stingers in her way. And if Angry Wolf only knew that she was currently aiming at Time for Pi's head, she probably could have gone for something. But unfortunately that wall is not bangable. AZ swings in, will not connect a shot, takes one herself, pulls back, and the hesitation is really there. Sporky does find Bochet, so they do lose out on the Goyo, but evenings things up. Sporky already downstairs. Brunek finds Fish Noodle as well. It is all of a sudden 4 versus 3. Time for Pi looking to hunt down the 2 players that she just momentarily saw jiggling around the corner. Nitro Cell tossed. It's close, but not quite close enough. Repel still on the site, looking to slow things down as the blind happens. Nitro Cell tossed. Is it deep? Yes, it is. 2 found for Repel. Triple kill in the round. Diana finds one as well. All of a sudden, AZ alone. Time for Pi. No chance of the 20 bomb because it has all been picked up, mopped up by her teammates. And Calypso repel with a massive 4K to round things out. They take the map, but it was a hard-fought victory.
A hard-fought victory indeed, with a 7-4, and that kind of an ending to put a stop to any more attempts from Renz on a comeback is one way to really finesse on your opponents. Congrats to Calypso for finally finding themselves that point. And a 17-11 between Diana and Time for Pi, and Repel to follow suit with 9 frags is already a fantastic showcase by the team as they take that dub and take those juicy points. So absolutely fantastic. Massive congrats to them. But Renz, gotta say, they showed some really solid performance, some really solid defended rounds, and overall, I mean, looking back at their story, even after a few hiccups, they were still able to apply some quality pressure on the Calypso.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard fought. You have, there's no way you can deny that. Yes, it was 7-4, but the rounds that Rens took, they were just these monumental efforts. AZ and a 1v3, massive clutch there. Burner Bear with that huge flank up through main tower. There were just these, I mean, you'd have to call them miracle plays because that's exactly what they were. They came in at the perfect moment, the perfect positioning. Everything just came together, it meshed, and it went Ren's way. So they played phenomenally. They should not feel disparaged about how things went, but yeah, unfortunately, they do take the loss at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the final scores throughout the whole day, how things really evolved throughout the whole of the evening, how some of the matches went. We've had an absolute banger of a game between Nutty Gaming and Grumpy Grapes, which did go into the overtime, the longest game so far that we've had, 8-6 to go into the hands of Grumpy Grapes at the end. Nocturnal and Elevate had a pretty quick day for themselves, 7-0 to both of them, whereas Beanix and 71st Recon unfortunately took an L on that one. And then a pretty tense game between Calypso and Renz, which did result in a 7-4 victory for Calypso. So overall, gotta say, a very action-packed day for us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that the matches that we had on stream were the ones that we did. Some very heavily contested matches that gave us some phenomenal gameplay on top of it. So big GGs to both Grumpy Grapes and Calypso for picking up their first wins of this season. Unfortunately, Nutty Gaming and Renz could not secure their second, but I mean, again, it's just going to spice things up even more as we start to take a look at the standings going deeper into the season.
Most definitely. Well, let's have a look at the standings as well, just to kind of get ourselves familiarized with the overall picture. Elevate, Nocturnal, and Nutty Gaming currently are in the lead for the points. We got the Rens still sticking around on the 4th place, whereas Calypso, Grumpy Grapes are there and keen to grab themselves some of those points as well next week, as they're just a little bit away from that top 4 position. But overall, Elevate Nocturnal once again seeming to be shaping up that whole storyline of their, so far, I believe, about 2 or 3 season rivalry.
Yeah, I'm no surprises at all that Nocturnal and Elevate are the two teams sitting at the top of the table. I mean, if I remember correctly, Nocturnal is formerly Elevate. They were originally the Elevate roster before there were some changes that were made. That now what we know is the current Elevate roster were brought in, and it's exactly what we're seeing. So just the longer these two teams are sitting neck and neck, the longer they are going toe to toe, sitting this close on the scoreboard, just the deeper that things get, the deeper that the storylines get, and the more that rides on their inevitable face-off is going to become.
Most definitely. Well, keen to see how things will definitely keep on unraveling throughout the whole season. We still got, I believe, 5 more weeks of the group stage to really evolve and see where did those standings going to evolve, and what kind of storylines will be forged, because we still have quite a fair few new players to be that have been added into the season, and so far we've seen quite some stellar performances from them, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're already starting to see what are, the standout players in the tournament, the ones to watch. I mean, the fact that we had 25 frags dropped in game number one, and then a combined 28 between the top two fraggers on Calypso in the second. So there are big numbers being put up. There are some real highlight plays that are coming into effect here, and it's only week number two. And if this is what these girls are bringing this early on in the competition, as soon as we hit playoff stage, my lord, it's going to be some of the best gameplay you've seen in a while.
100%. Yeah, I'm definitely keen for when the playoffs are going to come. But for now, from us, that is about it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to watch some of those bangers that we've witnessed here. Huge thank you to all of our sponsors. That is Ubisoft ANZ, ZQ Racing, Computer Alliance with Intel, Cooler Master, and Asus ROG. And well, from us, from the XP Esports team, we thank you very much, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Can you feel me?